Muffin Top Tuesday chat, baby. How y'all doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's week's going good. Muffin Top's in a decent mood. His weight loss routine is going in the right direction, minus the body pains, but with no medication at all, not even Tylenol and ibuprofen. That was expected. How you doing? I'm joined with Lawfully Armed at the moment. How you doing tonight, Lawfully?
Excellent. I think there's a little bit of lag on the live stream, though.
Oh, no. Well, what can you do?
Good evening, everyone. Justin B's first in the chat with a sup. Kipper Gang.
Go away, cat.
Cat alarm.
Cat alarm going off. Oh, I can't even see the chat. What's up with that? Actually, you know what's weird is through my chatbot thing with the Muffins game, I actually see the chat like 10 seconds before it even comes on the YouTube side, which is weird. Which is also where I can type. Oh, there we go. We got Justin B. We got Mac. Mac, I sent you an email, my dude. If you want to hop on in here, I think I got a pretty fun one tonight. And we will continue it until it's done, kind of like an audiobook series. If conversation starts to lag, we will hop right into that. Hey, yeah, hashtag get Kipper Gang. Dude, I have a sick idea for a Kipper Gang sticker. It's going to be a Kipper snack thing, almost all the way open. But instead of like where the bones would be on the fish, it's going to be like rifle rounds. So I think I'm going to do the Chungus sticker with nods. And then like a corn shoved in his mouth or whatever, something hilarious. And then I'm gonna do some kind of muffin, like maybe just a basic muffin outline, and then with like t.m.t. in it in the cup. And then I'm gonna do the hashtag Kipper Gang. Those are gonna be my first 3 stickers if we can get to 1,000 subs. And then if people like the stickers, then we could switch them up to some patches and look at some hats and stuff. But yeah. That's just where it's going to be going. I think that's cool. Those are all like chat-based, born inside jokes. So that's super awesome, cool. Mac, you're in, my dude.
Awesome. What up, brother?
How you doing, 27? Man?
Pretty good.
What up, baby Fiend Dog?
That's Fiend Dog number 2.
Yeah. Demo Man Don, how you doing, my guy?
Tri-state area.
Yeah.
I like that idea, cornbread muffin.
Yeah. Straight cornbread over here, baby.
Mad Shad.
You eat it. Mad Shad in the house. What's up, my dude? Mad Shad. I need to get your contact info if you want to hop in on one of these sometime. I got a Discord here.
You want me to send him a link?
Yeah, you should. Mad Shad's good shit. And then maybe I can get him. Does he do it all through email, Mac, or does he do anything on Discord or what?
I got his text. I got his number.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna drop out and I'll have to send it and I'll be right back.
Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, Mad Shad's good shit. I need stickers for my filing cabinet. Yeah, well, we gotta hit 1,000, Mad. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're growing organically. I think we're growing for the right reasons and to some good people, So it's good. I sent an email out to Hutch too. I need to get Backwoods' email. I know he's mentioned it a couple times, but me and Backwoods haven't been able to link up yet either. He's a good dude. That guy gets down some good rabbit holes and really gets you thinking. I like Backwoods. I love seeing him on John with Prepper Nation, the Beaverines. Man, when him and Backwoods and John did that, dude, oh my God. That was a great freaking live stream to listen to. I miss that. Right on. We're getting Mad Shad tonight. Dang. Cool. I like Mad Shad. t.m.t. written in Kippers. Oh, yeah, we could do that. Or it could be like the label on the can or something. That'd be cool. Old Man Butt Wrinkles with the meat spin. Oh, yeah, guys. Yeah. Welcome back, my dude. Thanks for doing that.
The volume's really quiet compared to a while ago.
Really?
Oh, there it is. Now
yeah,
good.
I just had to open my mouth for a minute. Let me snag your channel and drop it in the chat here, Matt or Mac. And I'll grab Mad Shad's and drop it in here as well.
You get Mad Shad's, and I've got Maccabeus's.
Well, I got Mac's, you get Mad Shad's.
Well, all right.
Yeah, Mad Shad's a good dude.
I already got Mac's copied.
The Mad Shad channel?
Yeah.
Like that's what it's just called?
Yeah. Just Mad Shad. Dude with a white beard. And a hatchet, I think. Tomahawk. I'll Google it. I'll check it real quick.
There we go. Mad Shad.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Which, yeah, if y'all haven't listened to either one of those guys, they have cool channels as well. Yeah, he's got like a little tomahawk for his picture.
Yep.
That's Mad Shad. Sweet. Pilgrim, what's up, my dude? Pilgrim has a channel too, guys. Go check out Pilgrim. Pilgrim, we need to probably have a chat one of these days too.
How you doing, Pilgrim?
Boom. The Bake Off game is a going. Hell yeah. Muffin will drop in 1,000 on the Bake Off. Cool, man. It's gonna be a good chat. If you guys haven't ever checked out, well, let's run through a couple. We'll let Mad Shad get in here. Catch up on the news, get everybody's thoughts and opinions. Well, let me Google what top news stories today. See what's going on. A lot of stuff's been moving foreign, and it's not being hit as well in the news, but a lot of countries are making some big moves, which is scary when big things happen all at once. Try and keep track of it, you know? I don't care about fucking Trump's trials and shit. I don't like the idea of trading 1,000 freaking basically terrorists for the quote unquote 30 some odd hostages they still have left. I think all those hostages are toast, dude. I doubt there's a single one left, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't trade 1,000 for them either. It'd be pound for pound.
Yeah, like, and what happened if we don't negotiate with terrorists? Every freaking terrorist we negotiate with now. Like, that's messed up, man.
Yeah. Unless they're going to drop a JDAM right after the exchange, drop a JDAM or something on them, then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we're funding both sides of that with Gaza and Israel. Interesting thing that happened is a tech law, I think either is on the floor or it's getting passed. And we're allowing so many countries like, I know like Australia, the UK, France, a couple other people. But what's up, C&T Design? I emailed you, my dude. If you want to hop in. But we didn't allow Israel in on our new microchip technology for military use. So that's kind of puzzling to me. Are we going to make sure we sell it to them? Because they have some stuff that we don't have going on, like that auto targeting system that you put in the handle of your AR over there so you can actually shoot drones with ARs. It's a proprietary system that they came up with. So if you like mix that with our scope on our new military rifle, dude, that's pretty much you can shoot anything. So in conjunction, I think they'd work really well. It's a startup company over there, and like the facility actually got raided and bombed by their quote unquote Antifa type actors. There we go. I need to click allow. Sorry, Mad Shad. You're in, my dude. A lot of weird stuff foreignly happening. Mad Shad, there's a little, I don't know if you use Rumble Studios, but there's a little mute button you got to hit yourself to get in and talk.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, this is my first time using this, man. I'm on
you
Rumble.
had to download it.
Yeah. I'm on Rumble, but I haven't done anything with it. On Rumble, I'm known as Shad Mad. Because
gotcha.
there's a Mad Shad there already. Go figure.
They stole it.
He's a name thief, isn't he?
No, the other
Fingers
guy.
are grit with that name.
Yeah. I've had dealings with him before. That's kind of funny. He threatened to sue me because of my name.
You're like, bitch, I was here first. Check out YouTube.
I was like, basically, I said, "Good day, sir." I said, "Look, I'm in a different genre than you. Don't even fucking sweat it."
Right, we ain't gonna cross streams. We'll be all right.
Right.
And if you're older than him, what claim does he have? You know?
Right. Hey, did everybody get the
know.
YouTube notification that we were live or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Lovely's checking it. Sometimes it does not do very good on that. We got Pat Wright in the house. What's up, Pat? Dang, we're gonna have a good panel tonight.
How you doing, Matt Chad?
What up, Lady Smith?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, Mac?
Pretty good. Supposed to get down -1 tonight.
Yeah,
Shit.
we're supposed to be cold tonight too. It's still snowing. It's been snowing since I got off of work.
Are you guys in an area that typically gets this kind of cold weather and snow?
Oh yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that Matt gets some snow, but I don't know if the increased amount or whatever was an issue at the moment for you guys.
Well, we're not getting a lot of snow here, but yeah, this is more of a normal winter for us, what we're having now. The last 3 or 4 years, it's been like really warm. A lot of 40s and 50 days and stuff like that, and only 20s at night. That's really warm for us here.
Right. Gotcha. Oh yeah, Justin B just got the notification. It was a little bit late compared to the Discord notification. Yeah, that's why I posted it in the Discord, man. I just kind of went. I was a little bit running late because the boys were potty training and he was trying to go poop, and he's like super excited because he's getting toys. So I was up there for a little bit longer. But geez, Lady Smith said it's -10 up there. Yeah, at night here it's getting pretty cold with the wind chill.
Holy shit.
Demo Man Don wanted to know who's in Cleveland. That's Shad Mad, bro.
Shad Mad Shad on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we dropped your links, guys. Pat, what's up? We need to drop Pat's link in here.
Heyo.
Pat's making some sweet shit over there with his 3D printer.
Ooh, really?
Dude,
Cool.
He's making a Kel-Tec Sub 2K stock that holds mags, bro. And it says t.m.t. approved on the stock.
Oh, yeah.
That's badass.
What?
What'd the printer cost?
Got a new one for Christmas. I'm not exactly sure how much it cost. Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa brought that one.
Thank you, Santa. Yep.
Every underground network ought to have a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
absolutely.
This is a newer brand. They just came out not that long ago, and it's basically plug and play. Like you don't have to sit and fiddle with settings and a bunch of shit. You basically just throw the file in there and hit print, and it's pretty much perfect.
Can you do metal or just plastic?
Just plastic.
Oh, okay.
For now, until Santa brings the metal one.
Right.
Well, there's yeah, those things are like 15, 20 grand if I'm not mistaken. Those what are they called? Metal centering? I don't know. Yeah, those are a little different.
Yeah, that's so
can-
crazy, dude.
You can do what's called lost PLA casting, where you print a model and you pack it in casting sand, and then you can pour molten metal into it. The molten metal burns the plastic away, and then when it cools, it's left in the shape of what the plastic was.
Oh, that sounds very
Well,
useful.
Yeah,
What up,
it's
Gen X,
not
Gemini,
like
Groundbird, Teresa.
you're not getting like precision out of it, so I don't think you could like cast a lower or something.
Well, I mean, it
Not
all
without-
depends on your mold and your mold coding skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, guys, I have a. Let's run through the news. Anything that's sticking out to you guys beyond crazy? More than we've already had the first 14 days of the year. It's been a wild 14 days.
The pathway of them fires being the same as that railroad's kind of interesting.
Yeah. What was it last year? Nancy Pelosi, her company or whatever, is going to do that bullet train over there. I wonder if those are going to go along the path of that, because she got
Right.
a lot of funding in backwards trading with that.
And the idea of the smart LA.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Newsom passed a deal or put it on the floor, whatever. They're voting on it this week, where they basically can't reclaim the land. They're going to zone it out of public affairs, basically. And old Daddy Biden just gave him a blank check before he gets out. Boy, if he gets spending some of that money, he might get that city up on our tax dime, baby.
Great. Just wonderful.
Uh-huh. What a guy. The first voluntary prison stateside, baby. We talked
First
about
one?
something like that on C&T.
A voluntary prison?
Yeah, if you've seen that Mirage or Mir, whatever they're building out in the Saudi Arabian desert, it's like it's like a 160-kilometer long city.
Oh, the mile. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to house 10,000 people. Okay,
They're actually
you
going to
have
do
no
that.
cars, nothing like that there. So how are you going to escape? You're in the desert. You are physically not going to be able to carry enough water to leave that place.
I mean, they're not out to escape there anyways.
Right. They're there to live. So you're there to be a cog in the machine until you're dead. Basically, right? You can walk everywhere you need, the grocery store, the fitness center, all that. It's going to have solar. You don't need a car. You get a little e-scooter to putt around, whatever. And then
They're rich.
you can't retire.
They're a big Muslim socialist country, basically. They're oil money rich.
Elevators and escalators everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember this thing now.
Yeah, the smart sidewalk, all that crap. Like China has sidewalk. You walk on it and you actually produce electricity, which is crazy. They have like little hexagonal panels. Pretty wild.
They're
But
smart.
that's eventually going to devolve into like all the freaking futuristic movies you've watched. There's always going to be like a slummy area where the stuff's not maintained properly, and you're supposed to be able to eat and work and go to the doctor and everything within 15 minutes of your house. Well,
right.
It's going to be a slower, slummy, lower income area. You're not going to get the best doctors. Eventually, the doctor's just going to leave, and they won't be able to replace them except with a DEI hire.
Or a robot.
Yeah.
What's up, OG Fiend Dog? Yeah, I
Well-
mean, it's interesting. But I call it the first voluntary prison. 10,000 people. You can't leave. It has the effect of being able to leave, like that movie Limitless, where you pay with everything with time, but you actually don't have enough money to get out past all the barriers where you want to go. Only the rich and elite can actually travel freely because they don't care about the time.
Right. You got 10,000 hours to pay for your food and your lodging and
Uh-huh.
Yep. And you could think about this too. There's going to be a need for enforcement. So if you're not if you're not doing what you're told or not being a good little cog, then you get to go to the slums.
Right.
You
Like
get
Ready
to go
Player
to
One,
boiler room.
the pods, the stacks, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What?
And then-
hey, Ladysmith, what
and
do you
then
mean
they're
by
just-
the no-M link? I'm lost there.
And then there's not going to be really any need for courts, so we're going to have police officers that are judge, jury, and executioner, and then you'll be swift actions of the law.
Right.
Yeah, the AI system all around you. They just
Oh,
instantly
yeah,
judge
That's
it.
the
yeah.
11-month contract, my dude. He's a union electrician. He's doing a Dick's Sporting Goods.
And then we'll genetically engineer like perfect police. We'll name them Dread.
Hell yeah.
Citizen.
That's cool. Well, I mean, it's not cool, but they want to do that here. The project name, I think it was the Mirror or the Mirage. Let me Google it.
The wall.
The wall.
Yeah, I think it's something. Yeah,
I think we looked it up on C&T the other day. I was talking to him. I think it's called the Mirage or the Mirror. The Mirror Wall. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. New Mirror Wall City. Yeah.
I think all that stuff's going to be, it'll be beyond my time. Maybe my grandchildren
think
might
it's
have to
gonna
worry
get
about
done.
it.
I think it's going to get done.
Well, they won't have everybody in it in my lifetime,
No.
is what I'm saying. Like, they're certainly not going to drag me out of the woods.
Right. Here's an article about it. It looks all super duper like Star Wars, future realistic. They have like a little greenhouse area. The crazy thing is, I think you're only going to get like 20 minutes of actual physical sunlight that's legit as it passes over the top, I think is how it's designed. So that's going to be super depressing. I could assume like suicides be really high in that area. Because like you need vitamin D. Like you need to be in the sun. We're meant to be outside for some part of our life.
Only
not
the
gonna
elites
use
are
that
going to have
artificial
access to the
sun?
top.
Right. What's
They're
up?
not going to use an artificial sun that like the one that China
Oh
invented?
yeah, I'm sure, but like Pat saying, like those would be like the high end suites. The high ends there will get a little bit more sun.
Yeah.
Coop says he's fighting a copyright strike.
Oh, for that stream? Oh shit! I'm sorry, my dude. Well, see, we caught on to him. That sucks. All right. Well, we don't want to talk about that anymore then.
Oh damn.
But I would assume something like that esque in California.
What did he get a copyright strike for?
I was on t.m.t Design stream the other day, and we were watching a YouTube video or something with going through that mirror mirage, that city, and that they're making that we were talking about. Just a second.
Yeah, there's freaking people in foreign countries that just go through YouTube and they put copyright strikes on freaking every video that has music or anything like that.
Right.
And then the 3 pennies that you were going to get paid for that video, they actually get.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fucked. Oh, hey, by the way, Pat Wright's trying to get to 50 subs so he can talk to somebody on late night long hauls in his semi, guys. So if you can help keep him awake, keep him safe, and talk about something constructive and do some critical think, go hit up his channel, man. He's a good dude.
I tried to figure out the Rumble Live. Do you have to have so many subscribers to do that?
You can start with 0. I think you need 6 or 8
Oh,
to do that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
maybe that's why I couldn't.
But then after that, it's all free and it doesn't matter, and you can just stream.
Like,
so
it said I was live, but I couldn't like find where the stream was. Like I could watch the stream, but I didn't have like a back panel or anything like that.
Well, if you got a Rumble, drop it in here too. Nice thing I like about this platform is I can simul stream to both Rumble and that, and they're starting to add more things you can stream to. I don't fucking have any of that stuff, but you know.
So I'm gonna start doing that then. Awesome.
Yeah. It's
man.
pretty. It's pretty decent compared to StreamYard. You just can't go mobile with it, which blows.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you got a desktop, you're good to go.
All I got's a phone. That's it.
Yeah.
But I got what is that? StreamYard? Yeah. And it can simulcast. I can cast everywhere. I'm casting. I wish I could get on Odyssey too. You know, cast on Odyssey, do some live streaming. I'm on Odyssey too.
I don't know.
But that's just not useful for me. Yeah, Odyssey's pretty good. You know, if you like free speed.
Yeah. Well, I just have an OnlyFans. I just show pictures of my feet.
Oh, ew, brother. Ew.
Hey, baby, I got a 3-year-old.
Brother?
He needs to eat.
Why?
What up, Dom VDG?
Why are you gay?
ToeJam.com.
Yeah. You want to see me rip apart
I remember that.
my big flat feet? I got you. Robert Ham, how you doing, my dude?
I'm going to snap my fingers
to
and you will no longer be gay.
Didn't work. More gay. Extra the gay. All right, let's do this. So I do an audiobook series chat sometimes, and we just do an audiobook and I'll pause like on each chapter. This is kind of like that before audiobooks were a thing on YouTube. This came out about the same time when the William of Ravenshire books came out. They're like really old. This is Bizajiz Ariza. And if you guys haven't checked this guy out. You know this? Yes. I listen to this all the time. This is Ariza. We're going to do his EMP series. He has 2 series. He has the EMP series and he has the Chronicle series, which is like
the Chronicles. Yeah, I like
I
was digging the Chronicles.
Yeah. So I listen to these a couple times a year, and this was way back when Muffin Top first started prepping. They have a lot of good takeaways. Granted, some of it's dated, but this dude is pretty good.
Yep. It inspired me to do my own little things.
Oh, well, shit. I need to go check those out. But yeah, this is like, I always thought I'd do something like this on YouTube at one point in my life because I really, like, the audiobook thing was big for a minute. Like, the series was big a few years ago, man. But yeah, I've gotten a few people into prepping with this. And if you guys haven't checked out the William of Ravenshire books, that is really, really good. Cyber Nuke, The Day It All Came Down.
All right.
If that's familiar or not. But on my channel, if you've been on my channel, we've reviewed both. Actually, I need to do the second book, but I listen to all this stuff multiple times a year. But yeah, we're going to do this. We'll pause in between chapters or whatever on here. Or these are this one's 13 minutes. Each chapter we'll stop and we'll run through the panel on what you took away from it, good ideas that you thought of, and maybe something that sparks your interest so you could squirrel with it for a minute. Sound groovy?
Sure.
Dig it.
Let's do it, baby. I like these little critical thinks like this with a good panel.
Up at 6 a.m. to go work job number 1. It was July 19th, a Tuesday. It had been an extremely hot and dry summer so far in New York. I showered, dressed, jumped in my work truck, and headed out the door. Work up until 2 p.m. had been uneventful. The usual dirty houses and unpleasant customers. I was running a cable line when a customer yelled, "What did you do?" I thought to myself, did I drill into an electric line? In 13 years, I'd never hit one. She said her power just went out because of me. I assured her I didn't do anything. Within minutes, neighbors started pouring out saying their power was out too. At that moment, I looked up into the sky and seen a 767 falling to the ground. Holy shit. My prepper senses started tingling. "EMP," I said aloud. It didn't register with my customer. I checked my cell phone, nothing but a black screen. I ran to my work van, turned the key, nothing. EMP videos and documentaries. I couldn't believe it. This was the real deal. I was the prepper type, the type my family and friends laughed at. In my work truck, I kept a get-home bag and a collapsible bike. The bike was a Stoa bike, MTB mountain bike. I threw down my work tools, grabbed my get-home bag, unfolded the bike, and prepared to trek the 10 to 12 miles home. My customer yelled, "Where are you going? What about my cable?" I didn't even give her a second thought. I work in the urban area, to say it nicely. I couldn't carry my gun at work. All I had was my EDC knife, a Cold Steel Recon, and in my get-home bag was a United States Marine Corps K-bar. Of all the places to be, the middle of the ghetto was the last place I wanted to be in a time like this. At that moment, I thought about my kids and wife. My kids were at home on summer break. I didn't need to worry about tracking them down. My wife was at work. Fortunately, she works about a mile from our house in the suburbs. I knew it wouldn't be long before the sheeple started looting in the city. There were cars stalled all over. People were asking questions. They had no clue what was going on. I decided to go home first, check on my daughters, and grab my gun before riding off to my wife's job. I knew chaos was only hours away. I figured a 10 to 12 ride home would take an hour or so. Forecasted high today was 94 degrees. I had 4 bottles of water, a life straw, and a Jones Stevens 4-way key in my bag. Water wouldn't be a problem as much as being an overweight smoker would be. I decided to stick to the main roads as it was the quickest and shortest route. I was able to avoid the gridlock of cars, buses, and trucks blocking the roads. It was 3:15, and smoke was rising all over. I knew it was from fires from downed airplanes. I'd only hoped one didn't come down in my neighborhood. I passed hundreds of people on my way home. I stopped for no one. My only concern was my family and their well-being. I kept an old-school wind-up watch on my get-home bag. By 4:20, I was pulling down my suburban street. With no garage opener, I ran around the back, unlocked the garage door, walked inside. Dad, you're home early. The power's out, my youngest said. I know, I said. Is Mom home yet? No luck. I yelled for my other daughter and told her to come down to the basement. By my tone, they knew something was wrong. I grabbed my water bob from my supplies, put it in the tub, and immediately began to fill it. I had my oldest grab buckets, pots, anything else that would hold water. I told her, don't ask questions, just do it. My basement was my bunker. It's where I stored 6 to 9 months of food and water. I had an old metal garbage can I had sealed and shielded as a Faraday cage. I'd kept a set of walkie-talkies, a ham radio, crank radio, an old cell phone, and flashlights in there. It was the moment of truth as I removed the lid. Success. Everything had powered on. I handed them one of the walkies, told them lock the basement door. Stay down there and don't come up until I return with Mom. Turn the walkie to channel 16 and stay in contact. I had often practiced with my youngest on them. My part-time job was a mile from home and we often would test the range. I knew we'd be able to stay in contact while I biked to my wife's job. It was less than a mile away. With my walkie attached to my bag, my AR over my shoulder, I set out to bring my wife home. The town police department was about a driver and an 8-iron away from my house. I worried, what an officer would do if he seen me riding down the street with a semi-auto rifle over my shoulder. Would he draw on me? Would he know how serious the situation at hand is? No time to worry. I had to reunite the entire family. Within minutes, I arrived at my wife's job, still in range and in contact with my daughters. Her co-workers and herself were quite shocked to see me show up armed. Man. I told them the grid's down. Do you know what's going on? The response was, it's probably a brownout. I said, did anyone try and start their car? I told them it was an EMP. They had no idea what I was talking about. I told my wife it's time to go. But she said, I got 15 minutes left in my shift. She worked in an apartment complex as a leasing consultant with over 300 apartments. I told her, we need to go, and we need to go now. This is bad and only going to get worse. A whole hell of a lot worse. She rode the bike, I jogged behind her, and off to home we went. I radioed to my kids that we were en route with an ETA of about 15 minutes. 3/4 of the way there, drenched in sweat, it happened. I vomited from the biking and the jogging. If only I would have stuck with it at the gym a year ago, I said to myself. We arrived home by 6 p.m. I pulled the three of them together and explained the seriousness of this situation at hand. The grid's down, there's no electric, there's no AC, there's no Wi-Fi, no cars. We're in a survival situation. There'll be no help from the police, the military, or government. I told them I prepped as best as I could for this. We've got plenty of food, 125 gallons of water stored in the basement, a pool, pond, and hot tub in the backyard, all full of water. The water bob in the tub was full, and we had another 25 gallons worth my daughter filled with buckets and pots. I had a Coleman camp stove with 51-pound cans of propane, and had just bought a new 30-pound tank for my grill. I had hundreds upon hundreds of candles, flashlights, solar lights, and battery-powered lights. Working for the cable company, I had amassed more AA, AAA, and CR123s than I'd ever be able to use. I felt good with our supplies. One thing I did worry about was cigarettes. I've been a smoker most of my adult life. I'd buy a pack a day every day. I flipped open my pack. I had 6 cigarettes left. I told my wife to fire up the grill, throw some steaks on. I had to run to make. She was also a smoker. I kept quite a bit of cash in my safe.
A new year and a new adventure with the perfect Chevy to take you anywhere. With pure power unleashed.
Didn't trust the banks. Denominations from dollar bills up to $100 bills. I also stacked silver, thanks to my buddy Tommy. I grabbed some of each, set off to the nearest gas station, which is about a half mile from my house. Walkie in one hand, my Mossberg 500 tactical in the other. I put my 50-round bandolier over my shoulder. By now, neighbors were out everywhere. They gave me some strange looks. I knew civil unrest and looting was a good possibility. Wasn't going to take any chances. WROL was imminent. As the gas station came in view, I could hear the chaos. Been a crazy day. I gotta have a cigarette right now. I can only imagine what a Walmart or Wegmans would look like. There must have been 30 to 40 people at the gas station. A line out the door. There were multiple signs saying no cash, no service. For the past 9 years, I'd visited this location almost daily. Damn nicotine habit. I approached quietly, shotgun in the ready position. Everyone was caught by surprise to see me locked and loaded. People were offering watches and jewelry for ice, beer, and cigarettes. Cash ruled everything around us for now. The crowd was not happy to see someone armed, and for a moment I thought I may have made a mistake. I pulled out $200 and told Bill the cashier, "Give me as many packs of Marlboros as you can, and 2 bags of ice." At that moment I heard a man say, "Give me that money or I'll shoot." I turned around and saw what looked to be someone under the influence of drugs and alcohol with a Glock pointed to my head. I told him to ease up. My Mossberg can do a lot more damage. Before I could put my finger on the trigger, Bill smashed one of the craft beer bottles over his head. The junkie fell to the ground. I grabbed the Glock, took the butt end of my Mossberg, and proceeded to bash him in the temple until he was unconscious. Bill handed me a full bag of Marlboros and said to grab as much ice as I wanted. I gave Bill the $200, handed him the Glock, and told him to get the hell out of here. I wonder if I made a mistake letting that fucker live. What if we cross paths again? 5 hours into this, I wasn't ready to kill anyone yet. As I traveled back home, the experience had rattled me. I could have been shot and killed. How long would my family survive without me? Approaching my house, I could smell the steaks. My mouth was watering. My wife asked how it went. I just shook my head. I threw the ice in my Yeti cooler and proceeded to pack it with meat, chicken, and a few drinks. I reiterated to my family that this is a bad situation and it's only going to get worse. There's no short-term fix. For the immediate future, we'd eat like kings on the grill. I knew what was going to come in the future. The thing that stood out the most this first day was the silence. No planes, no cars, no TV. Just the occasional bird chirping. As the sun set, we sat down to eat. I knew it was going to be a long night ahead for all of us. The day started off like any other.
Ollie and
Damn ads. Sorry for the ads jump scare, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's unmute. And we'll let Mac was first one to unmute. You get first dibs, man. What'd you take away from that? Anything cool you picked up?
Well, at least he had a K bar, and he got home at 4:20. And
Just in time.
I think he was riding his bike home when it first happened, and all the people he was passing, and he probably was the lucky one because at least the second or third person that come through there on a bike might have got jumped and had their bike taken from them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he had a plan and he acted. There's going to be a lot of people that sit there, scratching their heads, not knowing. A lot of normies. You're going to see preppers move. You're going to see, military, law enforcement guys like that move.
And if you're a smoker like I am, I enjoy smoking. I should quit, but machines. As of like 2 or 3 years ago, you could buy a machine with where you put the tubes on and load it for about $40. Pretty handy device. It's all hand crank, and box of tubes $3 or $4, and a pound of tobacco's 13 or 14. You can get three cartons out of a pound of tobacco average. So that's one option you could have to have something in reserve if you didn't want to quit.
I dig that. Pat actually has a stash bike because he's on the road and he may have to bike home.
Yeah, that's something that stood out to me. I was like, "Fuck yeah, folding bike, baby!" and then he said about, "Oh, I'm a smoker and I'm overweight," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not a smoker, but I am overweight, so I am not ready for that." Because at certain times I'm over 300 miles away from home, and that's going to be a hell of a journey if it hits at the wrong time.
All right. But we're working on it. We're all trying to better ourselves here. Muffin Top is a fat guy trying to tell people on the internet to get skinny. And we're bettering each other here. That's the point. We're going to strengthen the community that we grow, right?
Right on.
I should be telling people to quit smoking, I guess, then.
Well, yeah, you should. But, I mean, I quit chewing. Chewing's rough.
I can't tell somebody else to quit if I am not willing to do so myself.
So it's not bad to have some vices either. Just know if it goes on for a minute, you're going to be trading some fancy shit for some cigarettes, consumable for something maybe like a K bar. You know what I mean?
Or growing your own tobacco.
Yeah, you could do that.
Hutch grew some pretty good tobacco this last year. So it is possible here in Missouri and, up here in the northern climates.
Take it, Shad.
Me? Yeah. So I have the cigarettes machine and all that, and I've got tobacco stuff. But in this case, in this scenario, it's electric. Boogie woogie woogie. So I would hope that my Faraday cage, EcoFlow Delta or EcoFlow would be safe. Of course, it's not in a Faraday cage, so I'm asked out. Anyway, yes. So yeah, the one thing, and this is part of my plan too, and because I work on the road. So if something of this nature happened to me, I'm 100, 200 miles away from home sometimes. And what got me is, yeah, he's got his, I'd have to get to work. Or I could look at the map and say, who's in my area? Who, here in Ohio, we have the Ohio family. And so I could trek it to one of their houses as I could, if I could, right? But the one thing is that when it first happens, that fog of war, like you said, nobody knows what's going on, so you can take the main roads, you can take the main thoroughfares, more direct, fast route, and everybody's going to be like, I don't know what's going on, and they're going to leave you alone. You can't do that within like a couple of days or a week, because then you're just fair game. Right, so
you have a plan,
having
it sounds like, to activate
K-bar.
So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Marine Corps K-bar. That's my style. Hoorah, yut yut. And of course, yeah, when he said overweight smoker, I'm like, ah, damn it. But you know what? It's you just got to push. You just got to push and keep going, and know that you're going to make it. Right? You're not going to stop, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that spirit has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
Do you have
and
paper
you
maps
got
with
you
you?
and yours, at home. That's your driving force to keep for going. You can travel a pretty good distance on a bike, man. Out of shape or not.
Do you have paper maps with
Right.
you?
I don't. I do in my car. I got the truck atlas. I love that thing. I can go anywhere in the United States.
Yep, we got one of them.
Plot a course anywhere.
That thing's
Those are
handy.
badass. Shows you every road. But if I'm on the road, the only thing I have is my little get home bag, and it has very limited supplies. I got food in it. I got some water. I weapons. No comment. But
Same for Pat.
yeah. So it's you'd have to be kind of like, well, you're out in the open there, out in the elements. I don't have a bike, but I can get a bike.
Right.
If I needed to up armor, I could up armor. So that's where you're just kind of like, well, that's where your morals kind of come in. Like, do I really want to? Is it worth it? Right. Your first and foremost, objective should just get home, get to your place, get somewhere safe. Get home. For me, it's getting home. That's square. That's number one. Get home. That's where all my shit is. That's where my plan starts, and then I go from there. Because somebody's either coming to my house or I'm going to somebody else's house, right? So, it sounds like that the guy was in the suburban jungle, which I am. So, think about EMP. You're kind of stuck. You are stuck where you're at. So, that's a hell of a situation to be in, really. I mean, I'd like to get out. If I was in the suburbs, I'd like to get out of the city, get out into the country. But if I haven't done that ahead of time, you know what I mean? And plus, there's no cars. I'm walking it. I'm taking a bicycle. That's going to be treacherous. That's going to take a long time too. A lot of planning, a lot of administrative. It's going to take a lot of food and water, a lot of breaks. And you got to be you got to be quiet while you do it, not unseen. So that presents a lot of challenges.
Big thing is I've war gamed this with my wife, and if we get congested to the point, a T attack happens, we can't move, whatever. She's meeting up at the boys' daycare. She's closer. She has what's in her car. You guys don't need to know what she has. And I told her, get to this room. This is where you stay until I stay here, until I get here at this daycare. And you fight like hell with your tools. If anybody fucking tries to make you leave or anything bad's happening, and I will run my fat ass over here with my tools, which are substantial compared. I run a Keltec Sub 2K in my EDC, so common mags, lighter weight. I got a bad back, so I don't run a rifle anymore. And it's cheaper. If it walks off, I don't feel as bad opposed to an AR. And soft armor. I have soft armor that I used to wear for security. So I run that, and then we have a house that we go to. We will leave at night. We'll rally on the house. We'll eat our calories. There's other things at this house. We're all gray man all the way till there, and then at night it's different switch. But yeah, so. It's pretty wild. Rip Curl Readiness, what's up? We got Sophia B. We got fish sticks in the house. Thanks, guys. I do want to stress, because it is something that's in our plan, is footwear. If you have to wear dress clothes or something at work, you need to have a change of clothes to more street clothes. If you have to wear, if you're a gal, you're wearing high heels and a dress to work, you need to have some jeans and tennis shoes in the car or hiking shoes. Yep. Right?
Good socks, extra socks.
Yes. One thing I do want to say is if you are in a suburban environment, that 4-way Stevens key is nice, but you can open those valves with a pair of needle nose pliers. Yep. If they're not an old rusty crappy one, you can open them with pliers. I did it all the time as an HVAC tech to get a hose up on a roof on malls and shit, just so you guys know. So You want to cut the weight of having one of those. Not that they weigh that much and not that they cost that much. But you can do it with a good Gerber multi-tool or Leatherman. But if you are in an urban environment, that is water. Clean water. And there's be water sitting in the pipes. Just put a bandana over it in case there's like sometimes like beetles will crawl in there or you'll get like some dust. That first little splash, let that out, and then you can fill up your water source. But urban environment, that's where you get your water. So,
and if you're riding a bicycle, you know, if you make it home quickly, you may be okay. But if it's going to be a couple days trip, somebody could ambush you by just stringing a wire across a path wherever, you know, and might have a way to counter that, like a rod on the front of your bike, or I don't know, just something you come up with that, you know, may protect you if you run into a situation like that.
I dig that.
Duct tape a broom on there like a joust.
There you go. Like a blind man's walking stick.
Yeah, kind of angle it out towards the front so it sucks the wire down as you're going into it.
Yeah.
So it's the bike instead of you.
Yeah.
Big push broom.
Go for it, Lawfully. What you got, buddy?
Pack your Nicoderm and slap it on your ass.
Yeah, nicotine pouches ain't a bad idea. Because they won't smell it.
It's going to be a long bike ride.
Yep. Yeah, 10 to 12 miles ain't too bad.
Won't smell it.
Of course, yeah, this is a little bit dated, so vaping wasn't really a thing when these videos came out, but you could get some scentless vape if you're into that.
All right.
I don't think 24 hours into it, everybody's worried about being able to smell.
Right. Yeah.
That heightened that everybody being musky and that heightened sense of smell is not developed yet.
Yeah, so PB just picked up some patches a week or so ago. See, that's a prepping item, homie. Oh yeah. Yo, Rip Curl, we gotta chat and have you on here on a Tuesday sometime, man. Anyway, let's you guys good? Good with that? Nothing left unsaid?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could go all night.
Oh yeah. Let's hit this next one here because I'm working out while we're doing it too.
Right.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day one, he would install Pi on his computer without spending a dime because...
Oh, it's a little bit loud right here. Sorry.
I woke up to that emergency broadcast. A nuke from North Korea had brought on America's biggest nightmare. The country we laughed at finally delivered. I wondered if we were able to return fire. What was going to happen next? Would they invade? Or would some other country invade us? I fell asleep that night sitting in the chair with my AR by my side. Slept for maybe 2 hours. My wife and kids had slept in their beds. I wanted them to still have some kind of normalcy. The truth is, there would be no more normal. No more 9-to-5 grind, complaining about work, paying bills, and watching my beloved Mets blow late game leads. I walked out on my backyard deck, fired up my first cigarette of the day. Bill had hooked me up with 12 packs. Nicotine withdrawal was no longer a concern. My wife, out of habit, began to make coffee, forgetting the grid was down. I was fortunate. Never drank a cup of coffee in my life. I laughed and told her I won't miss what I never drank. I grabbed some Insta coffee from the basement, put a pot of water on the grill, and told her it's the best we could do. My daughter's still sleeping. I told her about my experience at the gas station the night before. There'd be no more venturing out for supplies. By today, I figured store shelves would be empty. Looting, chaos, civil unrest would be running rampant. What we had in the house would have to suffice. I told her I had more supplies than 99% of the average Americans. She never believed in my prepping and preparedness. She'd call me crazy and a nut. On day 2, she was now thanking me. I grabbed my Anchor solar panel charger to keep the walkies and the ham radio charged. My plan today was to check on a few neighbors and solidify our home defenses. To the left and right of my house were 2 single women. Across the street was Eddie, the divorced father of 2, who lived alone. Next to him was Jack, the 70-something retired small-town deputy. The 3 of us often talked at the mailbox about the economy, politics, and how crazy the world was getting. Jack, being a retired cop, had told me about the handguns he owned. I knew he had also invested in precious metals. Eddie, on the other hand, did not own a firearm. He'd seen me coming home from the range before, asked me about buying a shotgun. He never made the purchase, and now it was too late. I ventured out across the street, AR in tow, and with 3 out of my 4 walkies, leaving 1 behind for my wife. Eddie and Jack were already talking and see me coming. Both were shocked to see the semi-auto over my shoulder. I asked them both if they had heard any news. Neither had. I told them we'd been nuked by North Korea, and it was an EMP. It had destroyed our grid. I told them what happened when I ventured out for cigarettes the night before. The shit has hit the fan, and we're at war on our soil. The enemy was both foreign and domestic now. People are going to turn against one another over food, water, and shelter. Neither knew I was a prepper, and I still wasn't ready to divulge that information to them. Our suburban neighborhood was only about 3 miles from the urban city. I told them we need to secure our street and our houses before we're infiltrated by the unprepared. I handed each a walkie, told them we can communicate and watch each other's back. I asked both how their food and water security supplies were. Jack had 2 handguns and about 500 rounds of ammo. He was okay with food and water too. His one concern was medication for himself and his wife. They had about a 1-month supply. At that moment, I thought how lucky my family was that no one depended on medication. I knew this was going to last longer than a month, and by the look in Jack's eyes, he knew too. Eddie had a 10 by 20 foot garden in his backyard and a decent supply of water for being a non-prepper. As I said before, he never bought that shotgun, and now with a total collapse happening, had no way to protect himself. I trusted Eddie. We'd known each other 5 years since he moved in across the street. We attended the PGA Championship together when it came to town and watched over each other's houses when we'd go on vacation. I told him to come over and see me later, and I'd help him out. I reiterated to both to reinforce their houses and walk back to my house to do just that. I had boarded up all my first floor windows, being careful to leave an opening for my rifle to shoot through. I knew the wood wouldn't stop anyone, but it might slow them down. I drove nails through 2x4s and left them at the base of each of the windows. If or when someone came through, they'd have an unpleasant surprise meeting their feet. I knew there were a few houses on the street that could be trouble. We often walked the neighborhood before the EMP. I'd noticed the houses with the unkept yards. The people that always seemed to be sitting in their garage drinking beers. Houses where the kids looked like they ran the house instead of the parents. One thing I regretted not having was a dog. My state-of-the-art alarm system was now completely worthless. A dog would have been an excellent security system now. At that moment, my 8-year-old said, "Dad, I gotta go number 2. Sanitation was a prep I slacked on. All my buckets were currently full of water. I dumped a 5-gallon bucket of water into the pool, put a garbage bag in it, and told her the garage was now our bathroom. Time for a Marlboro. I guess it was time to dig a landfill in the backyard. to dispose of the waste in the garbage. I told the family if it was yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, it goes in the ground. On top of running security, I was now the sanitation man. I made the decision to use the pool water to bathe with. The hot tub water we'd use to clean clothes.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on takeout every done.
I'm getting back on track with Factor.
Fresh, never frozen meals at Parent by Chefs.
This saves us so much time when we're chasing around our toddler.
I can get all the nutrition I need without having to obsess over it. I never run out of tasty, nutritious dinners thanks to Factor.
Factor has over 40 different dinner options.
Like Protein Plus and Calorie Smart.
I never thought eating clean could be this easy and taste this good.
I can't believe it has taken me this long to get started.
We still had over 200 gallons of water in the house, a hot water tank full of water, the tops of 2 toilet tanks, and a small landscaping pond. I was also intent on collecting rainwater. At this point in the summer, we were 5 inches below average rainfall. The lack of rain wasn't hurting my small garden. Up until yesterday, I'd been watering it twice a day, and the fruits of my labor were beginning to pay off just in the nick of time. Over the walkie, I heard Eddie say he was on his way over. He met me to the gate at my backyard. I told him I'd be right back, and within 3 minutes, I returned with a Maverick 88 and 100 rounds of buckshot. I told him, here's a shotgun you procrastinated at buying. You're going to need it now. I gave him a quick lesson on how to use it and told him, don't be afraid. I trusted him. I felt better knowing 2 of my neighbors were armed and we could communicate with each other. 24 plus hours into this, my kids with no internet had to resort to board games and playing cards. They were beginning to understand the magnitude of the situation. At that same exact moment, my daughter yelled, "Connect 4." I heard the first gunshot since the new kit. I immediately radioed Jack and Eddie. They had heard it too. It sounded too close for comfort. I had my wife and kids go down to the basement for cover. I went to the upstairs window to try and see if I could find where it came from. Boom! Another shot was fired. It sounded like it was coming from the street behind my house. Binoculars in hand, I was scanning between the trees and houses. 20 minutes passed without another shot fired. The sun was now starting to set. What was it, I thought? Was it someone throwing in the towel already and offing themselves and their spouse? Was it a group of marauders? Was it the local police? Maybe it was the guy from the gas station who threatened to shoot me. There was going to be a long night, and daylight could not come fast enough.
U.S. Bank has a business checking account that has no monthly maintenance fee and smart tools.
Those damn commercials. I think that's the end of it, right? Hold on, let me check.
That make forecasting cash flow a...
Yeah.
Day 3.
All right. What do y'all think?
Wow. Lots to unpack there, man. I thought about this scenario too, man. You know, doing area assessments. I mean, if you're in a suburb, first thing you got to do, man, is you know, you're going to have a meeting. You know, we have a street meeting. Hey, we got to get together. We got to, what you got, you know, take inventory, harden, you know, start to block off the streets. We've seen this work in places during the Summer of Love, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just kind of person I am. Boom, I go with it. Yeah, you're going to have to make strong points, set guards, set fire watch, you know, and then have meetings and communal gardens, you know, rain catchment. You're going to have to work on everything, food production, you know, sanitation. I mean, you know, digging little foxholes, you know, find a communal sanitation area. You know, when if you've got a ditch, everybody goes to the ditch, right?
Right.
If it flows out.
What's up, Teresa B?
If you got nasty water. So I don't know, man. That's a hard pill to swallow right there. And plus, if you block off your streets, the next street over is another neighborhood. You don't know those people. That's another neighborhood. I mean, so trying to link it all together, it's and you've got all these people running around. You've got nefarious houses, meth houses here and there. Either they're going to have to get to work or get the hell out. I mean, it's and start brainstorming together how you're gonna how are you going to provide food, how are you going to provide water for everyone, and and security. I digress.
No, that's all really good stuff. That's things that you should be trying to work your community into getting like that now. Talking to your neighbors. Real easy case study. Dude, when I go walking around town and stuff, I'm like, hey, there's a pile of bricks nobody's using. How could we use that? A really good way to block off streets and things like that for bad actors. I've said it once, I've said it before. Trash cans and dumpsters. If you live in an urban environment, fill those bad boys with sand, bricks, dirt, whatever. Great little bullet sponge. And it's mobile, right? You can block off all kinds of roads with that.
Yep. Poor man's HESCO.
Yep. Well, not just HESCO, just cover too. A little bit of concealment, but actual cover. If you put sand and crap, like bricks and stuff like that in there, you get a little bit of a bullet.
That's what a HESCO barrier is.
Okay, I'm retarded. I thought HESCO was the freaking razor wire.
HESCO stops bullets.
See, I'm retarded. Well, my bad.
It's the steel basket with a big sandbag in it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to get mortar attacks and everything. Yeah.
Another thing was I didn't hear him mention, but you can go to Walmart, well, at least 2 or 3 years ago, and get them motion solar lights for the nighttime. And they're like $14, or they was 2 or 3 years ago. Get you 6 or 8 of them, throw in your Faraday cage so that they're not ruined. So you got some, already kind of a makeshift alarm if something sets off the lights,
Yeah, I like that. Also, I'm a big fan of the Lucy lights, especially they have the string ones. You could do like a kind of a backyard with it. That's how I've lit my house with Lucy lights when power goes out. They're handy. You just stick them in a window and they're done.
Well, yeah, on sanitation, if they're in an urban area or suburban area, isn't there manholes for the sewer?
Yeah.
Couldn't like community toilets be set up over like the manhole?
Well, the problem is it all goes to a treatment center, right? So in this event and somebody mentioned it, in this event that you lose power, they cycle a lot. I make equipment for wastewater treatment, and the amount of chemicals, things like that, the amount of water they actually cycle through these things is unreal. When you lose that suction, because that's what plumbing is, it's suction, things like that, your air barriers, when that breaks, if you do flush with your toilet, you will create a suction and it will suck up the sewage. It'll come back up through your toilets. And in this guy's second book, he actually goes over that because a plumber actually told him, don't do that. Trust me, you're better off not flushing, especially if you're in a multi-story building, like an apartment, whatever. That stuff gets a lot of pressure and it will suck back up through your toilet, and you'll have just raw sewage out and you can't stop it.
So would it work to just build an outhouse over a manhole?
Yeah, that's the thing is you got to get some young lads out there digging a privy quick, or you got to burn it or have a composting toilet. But in this event, think of just a block of people, 4 to 6 houses. That's a lot of
smoking in the outhouse.
Definitely not. That methane would be a real deal. And you got to
think of how quick it would accumulate not having fresh water to run it down.
Right. Well, you got to do wood chips. You got to do kitty litter. You got to do sand, dirt. You got to do something. But yeah,
I'm talking about over a manhole. Like if if you're building an outhouse over the manhole, like no light in your Marlboro and reading the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Right. I tell you what, man, I wouldn't want to be in a town and have to deal with that, because just the breakdown of wastewater and just your regular water, like it's a rough spot to be in, dude. It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
It really, really is. Yeah, I would try to block up everything. I mean, if you got a bunch of epoxy and all that shit, I would just block off all your toilets in that event. If you knew it wasn't coming back, like if you were into this a couple, 2-3 weeks, and people like you kind of know where if you've ever had sewage back up in a town or whatever, those are the first ones that are going to get it. That's your cue to block off all your plumbing.
Maybe
you hit it with like
a bag of Saccharine around. Just drop some Saccharine in your toilet.
Yeah, I mean, you could pull the toilet, just put a freaking like bag of sand down there, do a little bit of concrete, whatever you got to do. But yeah, I mean, it's outdoor potty time at this point. If this goes down, you know.
What about spray foam insulation, like a can of great stuff?
It'll deteriorate over time, even if you get like the water stuff. It's not made to last forever. But it would help. Yeah.
Concrete, mortar, rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plug that thing up.
Yeah.
Seal it.
Get a cap and seal it with some WD-40. You know, whatever. You get a piece of sheet metal. You get a plumber. Find a local plumber. I tell you what, plumbers will be a big thing in SHTF.
So
as much as I'm an HVAC guy, my plumbing skills will be used more. So.
To put my 2 cents on top of Shad's about the street meeting, I'm with you there. It would be a wise investment ahead of time to make friends at least with a few of your neighbors, because they can be friends with you and they might be friends with another neighbor. You kind of suss it out. I don't know that I would immediately play show and tell with the whole neighborhood about what I've got versus what they've got.
Right. Kind of like when they did that other book series that we listened to with the Christie series, where they conceal carried their handguns or whatever. To that, we need to go through.
Yeah, Christine Kersey.
Yeah,
she's about to drop book 5.
Yeah, no, I need to catch up. I think I'm a book behind. But yeah, I want to catch this comment real quick. Justin B said they make bags that'll block off your pipes, so that way things don't come back into your home. That might be something worth looking into.
Where'd you get those? Like Plumbing Supply or something?
Yeah, I guess. I haven't heard of them. Of course, I've been out of the plumbing game for a minute, so.
Yeah, you got me thinking about that, because I live in an apartment complex.
Right, but you got to have enough for everybody in the complex, right? Because nobody else is going to go buy that unless you get a prepping buddy in there that you buy. Then you all can split it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have kind of laid the groundwork. I've always carried myself as like, you know, the good neighbor, be a gentleman, and, you know, but of course stay gray man. But it was funny when I moved here to Ohio, first thing that happened is little old ladies knocked on my door with cookies and pies and cakes. And I'm like, you know, and they're asking questions. Next thing you know, I got this old army vet going, hey, you were a Marine. You could be useful, you know. I'm like, you guys are already looking into me here, huh? So, you know, I already know it's, and I've talked to him, kind of just threw it out there at him, like, what would you guys do if, you know, we lost power, or, and we did lose power, you know, and, you know, what would happen if, you know, something happened? What would y'all do? Oh yeah, we'll be fine. We'd stick together. Like, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So, you know, but of course you're always going to have a lot of people that just leave. They're just like, fuck this, I'm out. Right. You know, they, for whatever reason it is, they've got family elsewhere. They're scared.
Or they got a location. You know, they got a bug out location, maybe, you know.
Or they got a bug out location, right? They got they got some place to go. They got, you know, they're gonna go stay at mom's house in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but yeah,
the old army guy.
Fiend Dog, they did he in the second book. He actually does the tennis balls and the pipes thing with a bunch of trash bags.
Tennis, there we go. I was saying test balls, and I was like, what?
Tennis balls, really?
So yeah, like, he does tennis balls and just keeps wrapping them up in like. He pulls the toilets. He keeps wrapping the tennis balls up in trash bags and just kind of like fucking stomps it on there.
Stuff them in there.
Waffle stomp them.
Yep.
Yeah, take a stick and shove them in there.
Yeah.
All right. Punch the board. Okay.
Most
Another-
toilets are 3 or 4 inch pipe. So if you get a 3 or 4 inch, you could have a plug rigged up now out of PVC. So that's an option as well.
Well, like a basketball wrapped in a plastic bag.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Deflated a little
I think
bit.
he does. He does that, and then he puts a cinder block over it. I think that's the best he's got because the dude's not a plumber. But yeah,
Also-
handyman guys will have a lot of good shit to jerry rig and convert some of this stuff over.
A person be smart to have some like rat poison and stuff stockpiled because rats and all that's going to come back pretty quick.
Now you're in my wheelhouse. I was pest control for 12 years.
Ding, ding, ding. That stuff is going to pop off. I think that gets into a little bit.
And mouse traps and rat traps, but you can also use the mouse traps and some fishing line. Use your imagination and set you up, some
audible
alarm type stuff, or force multipliers or whatever.
I love treble hooks and fishing line. Let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I hate them. I always get them stuck in me.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
Wink.
And Minecraft on YouTube, wouldn't that suck if you were a normie rolling through some of that in the dark?
Right. Yeah. Just look at the movie First Rambo, right? All those little fun little things he built in the woods. Those are easy to do.
Yeah.
I lost track. Who wants it next? Sorry.
Did we lose Pat?
I think Pat might be working. Matt, go for it.
Me?
Yeah. Well, I know we kind of been all kind of hobbling in here, but you get anything extra out of that or extra input on top?
The security and the sanitation be the two, and obviously what Mad Shad brought up, but I think them would be the three things that would be addressed right off.
Now, I like how this guy, he had a couple neighbors that he trusted, right? So he brought him into the loop. News is obviously at a standstill if somebody doesn't have a radio like this guy has. He told them. He's like, this is what's going on. Asked him, like, hey, some shit's going to go down. How y'all on your food, water, meds, blasters? Like the prepping staples, right? Because obviously you have your shelter, your house is there. So we're going to ride that out as long as possible in the house. But it's direct. And there are going to be people that don't have pew-pews, guys. And we all have enough that we could hook somebody up that we trust, right?
So I thought about this too while I was listening, if I may interject, is improvised weapons, man. It's time to go medieval. Spears and bows and arrows, and you can make that shit.
Yep.
Right. I got nothing wrong with that, but if I got some dudes like down the road, the LPOP behind a couple cars, I don't want him with a spear and arrow. I'm going to give him a spare AR, and a shoddy and a bolt action and better stuff. But in town defense, sure, roll Negan style with a baseball bat. Fuck it.
I mean, if you got a strong point, I mean, you can have whatever you want. That's your strong point.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Something else that he didn't mention in the story was some night vision of some sort, and you don't have to go with military grade shit. Walmart has, 2 or 3 years ago, they had a decent monocular that was like $130, and it works pretty good. I bought one just to have an extra, and obviously somebody else can see the signature off of it, and even your house security cameras. A lot of them have night vision. Mine do, and they run very easily off of a DC system. So you could since vehicles are down, you're going to have batteries, so you could use your camera systems, to set up some kind of a lack of a better term.
Too. Yeah, you can get it.
Yeah,
it doesn't take a lot of power to run security cameras.
But you could start setting up something like, China has them secure, and these cities have security cameras everywhere. You can set up something like that for your neighborhood, and have somebody at the command post, monitoring on a monitor, at nighttime to see what's going on, type thing. Maybe don't run it in the daytime to conserve power or something. I don't know. It depend on the situation and what you had.
I don't know if anybody in this chat, I wish we had Drew from Oregon here, but I had heard that if you have the old C and D cell battery trail cameras with the more modern night vision, that can, since they're flash, right? They're not actually IR. That can damage and or blind some people that are rolling with some nods that you don't necessarily need. So it can be a low tech way to counter that, right?
Boom, right? Blind them.
Yeah. Which I've also thought the same with like a flare gun, or like they have these flashbangs that you can buy. They're like 300 muffins, but they're 11,000 lumen rechargeable flashbangs that civvies can buy. And I was like, dang, like that with some airsoft grenades and some smoke.
I was in the Marine Corps and I miss flashbangs.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about getting one, but I ain't dropping no 300 muffins on it.
Well, how many lumens are them flares that you can buy for your shotgun? Like the Marine flares, you know?
Yeah, you can buy them at Wally World. I don't know what the lumens is on them, but I kind of figured if you pop one of them.
I've used them before in the shotgun. They're not that bright, but they're good fire starters.
Yeah. What you got, Lovely?
The flashlight company 4.7s, they've since gone out of business, but back 6 or 7 years ago at SHOT Show, they showed off the idea of a omnidirectional, like flashlight flashbang, if you will.
Like a Green Lantern kind of deal?
No, it's like literally was like a, so we don't burn the house down or like hit a baby in the crib kind of thing, but like we still want the strobe effect of a flashbang, like the flash component. And it was about the size of a cantaloupe.
Oh,
not basketball size, but bigger than a baseball. It's just like an omnidirectional strobing high lumen flashlight.
Right.
I don't know if anyone knows of another brand that maybe took that idea and ran with it.
Wow. So when they were talking about the sanitation part, I'm going to plug Maccabeus on this one. The urine can be used. The urine can be recycled.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I use it for my ammonia in my laundry when I do my off-grid laundry.
Airsoft flashbangs, they have light-up ones. Have it on Amazon here. Let me drop a link. But there's a newer company that I see on Facebook. They're no joke. They're 400 muffins. But yeah, Airsoft has some stuff, guys. They have some BB, like CO2 powered freaking flashbangs, and they have some light ones. This doesn't say how many lumens it is. I cannot copy this link. This is retarded.
I can vouch for the Thunder Bee flashbangs. They're a CO2 bomb, like you put dry ice in a Coke bottle, but this is like a flashbang sized plastic hull. When you let the spoon go, it pops the 12-gram CO2 cartridge, and when it goes off, it's about 160 decibels. It's like a shotgun going off between your knees.
That's pretty loud.
Next torch.
When you're not expecting it, it's pretty loud.
Next torch makes one. Yeah, there's a few of them. There's some that have just couple big diodes. Next torch has a bunch of them. Shit. One of them that runs on a 9-volt battery. Anyway, I don't know. Google that if that's something that interests you.
That is interesting.
You can save that urine. You can save that urine for your garden too, because you'll have to be producing a garden at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's free fertilizer. It's not going to hurt you.
Right.
And segue into other things that expand very quickly. That use ammonium, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And to wordsmith a little. Yeah, in Minecraft, to wordsmith a little, right?
I like the way you think, my mad brother.
Right? I say it to you knowingly.
Thunder Bee Airsoft Flashbang says Lawfully. There you go.
I was going to recommend.
There's a lot of components into it, but if you have some sort of relation/community with your neighbors now, and you walk the neighborhood with these people, you can say, hey, man, right here's a choke point. We need to do this and this. We move this, component over here we're seeing. You can see it out in the wild. Even if you live out in the country road, you got 2 neighbors. Walk up and down your gravel road, man. You're going to see, hey, man, we can drop a tree here. We can drop a tree here. We can have it pre-cut. Let's do this shit.
Right.
It works. It works, man. Or you can say, hey, man, we're going to string some wire through this fence here. So people that don't know it's here is going to have a bad day. People that do know it's here ain't going to go this way, right?
Yep. Choke point, deny entry, deny ground. You know,
100%.
Have your three level fucking barricades on your roads. You know, so you can get in and out. Have it manned. Have it covered by fire. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours.
Right. And having it all pre-thought now and having the plan sketched out saves you A, a lot of time, B, makes it easy to present to a lot of people that have no freaking clue. So you can get useful idiots working somewhere useful. So, you know.
And go ahead and build your rain cards, you know, have it present, you know, so you do your PowerPoint presentation during the meeting. Go ahead. This is what we got here.
Bust out that whiteboard, baby.
Don't be telling all my neighbors I've arranged their houses.
And if one of the houses happens to be like a 2-story in a good position, you could go up into the attic and cut a hole in the roof and build just a little port out of it for someone to do overwatch out of. And, you know, that's where handyman skills would come in handy. Set something up like that so it's still not going to leak back into the house when you do have rain or snow or whatever.
And you could also make some homemade sandbags, you know, a couple trash bags, a couple contractor bags doubled up.
That's right.
Get some boys digging extra ditches where you need some foxholes and ditches for fighting and shore up walls, right?
I save them breathable bags that some dog foods come in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I fill them up with dirt. Well, it's sandy dirt because I live on a river. It's a lot of sandy dirt here.
Right.
And you can fill them up and they don't degrade outside. They stack real nice.
And it's free. It's already an input you paid for, just like I talk about with juice jugs, just like I talk about with cardboard. You know, you get toilet paper rolls, whatever. You already paid for it. Find a second use for it. Cardboard's great for the garden, man. Compost pile. You know, juice jugs, wash them out, water jugs, instantly. Boom.
That cardboard can be soaked in water and separated and pounded out into toilet paper.
There you go.
I think the day of toilet paper would go away quick and people would go back to just using a rag and washing it out type thing.
Oh yeah, I did that in my my dollar store get home video. People were picking up toilet paper. I picked up a 2-pack of brown washcloths and I said, "This is butt wipe, and it's reusable."
At least you started with brown.
Yep. Don't start with white. Just go ahead and start with brown. Save your dignity.
Or just wear brown pants.
Yeah, nobody will see what's going on. See, this guy, I wear red because I bleed a lot. This guy, see, he gets it. He wore the brown pants. But hell yeah, this is a good thinking session, man. And people don't think about it. That some doom and gloom is, man, you live in a city, you're fucked. No, you can get it figured out. Look at these guys all talking about it right here in this panel. All right, you guys want to do another one? You want to call it a night? It's only 9 o'clock. We'll do another one.
It's up to y'all.
Let's do another one.
I'm here for a good time.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Mute.
I didn't sleep at all the night before. I was on high alert after hearing the shots fired so close to my house. By day 3, there was no more running water. Temperatures were still running into the low 90s with high humidity. Even though we had a pool, I was reluctant to let my kids out back to swim. Safety was the #1 priority now. I even moved my grill to my garage and set it up at the back door. Mountain House scrambled eggs and pancakes for breakfast. I check in with Eddie and Jack at sunrise each morning. Still armed with 11 packs of cigarettes, about 12,000 rounds of ammo, plenty of food and plenty of water. We were in good shape compared to the rest of my neighbors. I harvested some fresh fruit and vegetables from the garden. I'm glad after 2+ months it was producing some results. I had 2 traps set out back by the garden. I had seen a few rabbits stealing from it. My kids and wife would never eat Peter Cottontail, but I could ill afford to have him eating precious garden resources. Everything had been happening so fast, I hadn't really given any thought to my friends and family. I wondered how they were doing. Were they still alive? I had a buddy that was a former Marine. We had often talked about building a bug-out retreat before the EMP. Unfortunately, talking about it was too late now. He was my closest prepper ally. He lived in a rural, secluded area about 45-minute drive from my house. With no running vehicles, it was probably a 2 to 3 day walk. I told him if the shit ever hits the fan, I was bringing my family and supplies to his house. With no real option, and 3 days into this, our safest choice was to remain at home. My wife asked me where the police were. I said home taking care of their families. I told her to look around. This is it. There's no help coming for the foreseeable future. At that moment, my oldest daughter said Danette. A next-door neighbor was walking to our door. I had my wife and kids go down to the basement and lock the door behind them. I wondered if she was alone. Could it be a setup? Things that never would have crossed my mind before the EMP hit. I radioed Jack and Eddie, told them I had company approaching, and asked if they could keep a lookout, see if she was alone. Neither saw anything. She knocked on my front door. I was armed with my Mossberg 500, loaded with alternating rounds of sluggers and buckshot. I didn't open the door, instead yelling through, asking her what she wanted. She said she was out of water and had nothing to drink. I asked myself, what should I do? Turn her away cold-heartedly, or give her water and have her return every time she needed more? I didn't prep for my neighbors. I prepped for my family only. She had nothing to offer me. She was a liberal who often told me how bad guns are. I knew she didn't own any firearms, so I made the decision to turn her away. I told her I barely had enough for a family of 4. She was single and lived alone. I told her there was still water in the toilet top tanks, plus additional water in her hot water tank. I had plenty of water, but it wasn't going to last forever. As she walked away, I heard a gunshot. I seen her fall to the ground. Holy shit, my heart was racing. I heard Jack and Eddie over the radio saying there was a group 30 yards from my house who had shot her. Were they coming to my house next? No time for questions. I put down the Mossberg and grabbed my battle rifle. Headed out the back of my garage and around to the front of my house. I took cover behind my car, carefully pulling the charging handle. My hands were shaking. I wondered if I could hit the broadside of a barn under these circumstances. There were 3 of them. I lined up the red dot, fired my first shot. It was a direct hit, right in his throat. I quickly fired 10 more shots as the other 2 started to turn and run. I hit both. All 3 were now down on the ground. I radioed to Jack and Eddie, told them I was okay. Taking no chances, I emptied the rest of my magazine into the 3 of them. There were now 4 dead bodies in front of my house. I radioed my wife, who was still in the basement with my kids. Told her I was okay. But Danette and 3 unknown marauders were now dead. Stay down there until I come back in, I told her. I wondered if there were more coming. Were these the guys I heard shooting the night before? I didn't want the bodies sitting in my yard cooking and rotting away in 90-degree temperatures. I had Jack and Eddie help me pull them into Danette's backyard. Jack stood guard as Eddie and I dug a hole. We buried the 4 of them. I now had a vacant house to the right where Danette once lived. The 3 of us scavenged through her house. What little food she had, we split. We took all the hygiene, medicine, and paper products we could find. As we walked out, it hit me. I had just killed 3 people. I knew it had to be done, but it's still a heavy burden to bear. I told Jack and Eddie, those 3 won't be the last to cause trouble. We needed to be extra vigilant and on the lookout. The 3 of us returned to our houses. I wasn't going to lie to my family. I told them exactly what happened. There would be no bullshitting. Honesty could now save lives.
File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it yourself.
I didn't sleep a wink the night before, still struggling with Danette's death. I thought maybe if I had let her in my house, she wouldn't have been shot and killed. Just
I'm coming. Sorry. Got busy doing shit. What do y'all think?
Woo.
Corpses and heat, man. It's going to be a problem.
Well, I probably wouldn't have turned her away because, especially if you're planning to work it as a community, a water source is going to have to be came up with for the good of everybody. Or you can lone wolf it and, not. But I think I would have helped her personally. And when it come to the shootout, he hadn't ever been under fire or anything. And a lot of people have an adrenaline rush when they first go into a situation like that. And some people can't even hold their gun on target because the adrenaline rush is so bad. And that's something everybody ought to be aware of
Right. Then the big problem with that is he was the only one who was armed who reacted.
And I don't know why he emptied his mag into him.
I wouldn't.
He wasted ammo on that one.
Yeah, it seemed like overkill.
But maybe that's his level of training, and kind of like cops when they mag dump, like that trigger finger is keeping you alive. So I understand the reaction.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, until they're on the ground.
If I felt the need to put another round in them, I'd have probably pulled a handgun and used like something smaller and of a little less value.
This guy doesn't have a handgun at this point.
Oh,
or just dead check individual headshots.
Right.
And now they're down. You can take the time to make aim fire, like concise aim fire.
Right.
Rather than just gangbanging them.
Right. And it's interesting. It's definitely a very accelerated turn of events,
Yeah, how many days are we into the EMP at this point?
4.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be capping people at 4 yet. I don't think the roving gang would be capping people at 4 yet either. But in my community, might differ from where this guy's at.
Yeah, 3 tried. They did. They came in his neighborhood and just shot a girl.
Yeah. Obviously, if that happens, it's all hands on deck.
I mean,
yeah, that's.
I'll be honest.
Go for it.
Right now, in rule of law, if I were answering my door to a neighbor that was knocking, and somebody just gunned her down in my yard, I don't know that isn't how I would respond now.
Right.
Not that I answer my door with a rifle in hand on the regular.
No, I answer mine with a blaster, with a pew in my hand, a handheld version. And it's real easy.
I hope that
You answer it, but you poke it against the door, and you put your foot right there, right, with your toe up against it.
Yep. With the foot.
And if they decide to kick in, it's rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat through that door, but they don't know that you're there, right?
I don't answer the door for people I don't know.
Yeah, don't open your door. Don't open your door. You can talk through a door.
I would be afraid, gun in hand, to somebody unknown, that your odds are just as likely of a jumpy cop that would kill you as it would be somebody legitimately bad.
Yeah. Yep. Trust no one. And it's funny how 4 days in, he's already getting suspicious. You know, paranoia is setting in. Your neighbors are your enemies. You know, and everybody's thinking, well, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why they haven't had the meeting yet.
The guy wasted four freaking bodies of delicious long pork.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
So to get really barbarish, the first thing I thought was, why bury the bodies? Nah, man. Put them down. Put them at the end of the street. Stack them up. Put a sign. Right, exactly. I mean, you know, fuck it. Send a clear and present message. Come here. This is what's going to happen.
Seeing that, so
psychological
me and
warfare
to do that and partake in that.
Yeah, somebody came up with a. I can't remember who was talking about it, but the world without rule of law probably won't last forever. So if you're forced to kill somebody, you should probably find a way to preserve evidence. If you have a way of taking a picture with an old camera or something, because eventually somebody's going to come knocking. Yeah, have their IDs if you can.
You get a couple eyewitness accounts, yeah, it'd be probably good.
Even if it's a few years later, like some sort of law will probably come knocking, asking about it.
There's a chance of it.
And 3 days into it, you're just going to mag dump on a group of guys. I might get myself killed because I don't go to violence quick enough.
Well, if some lady got capped on your front door that you was just talking to, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And make it a Kodak moment, Lawfully said. That was a good one.
Nice.
I like it.
Anybody remember those?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I think their chance would be pretty good that there would be some form of government coming back at some point in time. I would allow for that actually in the planning.
Right. I might have to go through it, but Southern Prepper 1 did a little series like this, and he brought that subject up. Maybe we'll have to listen to that sometime. Very, very good material.
Yeah. Well, like in that show Jericho, that's what happened there. You know, they thought they was on their own, and then the actual federal government had fractured into what was there, 3 parts or something? There's 3 countries fighting each other, and one of them was in power of that area, and they came back, and there was kind of a military trial or a military hearing over the New Bern and Jericho fighting and the people being killed, and they had contractors that was doing work for them. All that was a high possibility, I think.
Right, and like Duke says, the hell may go for it's 4 stages, right? It drops down absolute hell week, right? And then it goes to the Mad Max, and then it goes to something after, and then it goes to the rebuilding phase. How long those go depends on the situation, depends on people, depends on good and bad actors, hashing it out. But eventually things will get rebuilt, because humanity always comes back after every great famine, disaster, war, whatever. We always build back to a peaceful time, right? That will happen. So you have
and over to the
was
other.
it in 1 second? And what was it? 1 second after, like a year later, the quote unquote government showed up.
Right. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, we seen that you had this large battle." And they like side eye the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, where the fuck were you at, guy? Like, thanks for the fucking help. We have these fuckers over here eating people with fucking ketchup, and you guys are like, we'll let them figure it out. It's fine."
They're waiting in their bunkers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what they were. Yeah, I don't
And
know
on
if you've listened to 1 year after or 5 years after. 5 years after fucking blows. You can skip that one. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to listen to.
Yeah,
it's just cool because it's happening in my area. That's the only reason I liked it a little bit.
Yeah.
On the extreme of governments coming back, there could also just be some kind of a government rise up. It's like your local gangs or the local militia, or a fraternity of cops or some National Guard going rogue, or there could be some other authorities step in. The killing the 3 men on your yard may not be an issue, but government being involved in your life of some sort could come back at any time.
Yep. Definitely needs
that's
something
true.
thought through there.
That's why I look at the demographics, and that includes gangs, that includes groups, right? Because they will try to exact dominance if they can, if they think they can, and get away with it, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the gloves are off now. They've been hiding from the cops. They've been hiding from them.
With you think? The muffin. Sorry.
Please continue.
I just saw it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
I just saw a trailer for the Homestead movie. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Me either.
But it looks like some local town official just shows up at their property where they've been preparing it all this time.
Oh, I seen that. Yeah.
He thinks he's in charge, and he's like, I'd like an inventory of all the weapons and food and ammo that you have on the property. He's like, taxes are due or some shit like that.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
I can imagine something like that happening pretty quickly after the beginning, especially if everyone figures out that you're not out every day trying to find supplies. But they're just going to assume that you must have some.
Yeah, you're not sick.
Which
you're not.
Why you have to have that illusion. Even if it comes to the point where you stock a couple size clothes bigger than what you got. Go to Goodwill garage sales, get that shit. But if everybody else is starving, you should skip a meal or two too. If you have enough food, you can have 1 square meal a day, and everybody else is eating none. You should reduce calories. Don't eat 3 square a day.
Yep, one meal.
That immediately goes into conserving what you have, because as soon as you crack into your preps, the clock's ticking on replenishing them, right?
Well, then you get into if you are cooking, and you're in that close of an area in a suburb area, and whether you're cooking mac and cheese or something, there's going to be some kind of aroma. So you got to watch for that. And if it's in the summertime, closing up your house all the way to sweat to, you're going to die of heat stroke in there.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with eating some cold cans. You don't have to heat them up. A cold can of Campbell's is better than going hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, just cooking may not be a good idea.
Right. Boy, this is a good little think tank. Let's fucking do another one. You guys good? Any other unsaid comments? Go for it if you got it.
What didn't you have a thought you had there in Mad Chad and you stopped?
Man, I could keep going forever, dude. Don't even. I mean, what you want me to say, man? I mean, right there and then after the shooting, he should have had the meeting. Like, hey, everybody, let's get out your homes. Let's go door to door. We need to talk.
Right.
And it's serious, and y'all gonna have to man the rails or something.
Right. And I agree with that. 100%. I like the one thing they did was they knew, hey, this home is vacant. We need to get all the supplies out of it and divvy it up. Good call there, because you don't want that lost to somebody else.
And all that land, all that real estate. I mean, that's garden material.
Mm-hmm.
That's garden, Or you can, or if it's not good for garden, then that's where everybody takes a shit. Right?
Yep. Get it away from your house as far as possible. Shit pit and a trash pit, right? Burn that
Yeah.
trash too. Get that'll help keep get rid of the rodents.
How fitting it's in the Liberals' house.
Perfect. Let's
She
do the
was
next
useful
one.
everywhere.
Good.
All right, let's do it.
Oh yeah, this is good.
4 short days ago, life was so different. So much has changed since the EMP hit, devastated my city and what I assumed was the rest of the country. I miss the air conditioning. My mercury thermometer was reading 84 degrees inside my house already this morning. I couldn't help to think down the road to wintertime. New York winters were harsh and unforgiving. If there was a blessing, it was this happened now instead of in January. I had 2 Mr. Buddy heaters and about 51 1-pound propane tanks. That was the only heat source we'd have come winter. By now, the food in the refrigerator and freezer had spoiled. We'd eaten as much chicken and meat as we could, knowing it would soon go to waste. The ice in the Yeti cooler had long melted too. It's funny, it's the little things you miss first. No more ice cubes means no more cold drinks. When it's 90 plus degrees out, a cold drink does wonders for the morale. I had often debated over getting a generator, but never got around to it. In a situation like this, a generator would be a double-edged sword. Sure, I could run my refrigerator on it, but they were noisy. Everyone in the neighborhood would hear it, and I'd have a giant target on my house. I missed taking a shower. We were now reduced to bathing in the pool. I had more than enough chemicals to keep it clean, but it wasn't the same as turning on the water and feeling it hit your face. My wife and kids were scared after the shooting in front of the house yesterday. They kept asking, what if more of them come? What if they come at night when we're sleeping? Sleep, I thought. I hadn't slept more than 4 hours since this began. I was drained physically and emotionally, but couldn't let them know that. They depended on me. Jack Eddy and I were going to have to come up with some kind of plan for night watch. I was going to need sleep eventually. After I gunned down the 3 marauders, I thought of Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead and the question he'd ask new people. How many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? Why? I would now have to answer that question with 3 people. I reassured my family I wouldn't let anything happen to them. I told my wife she was in charge of meals. We'd use up what was in the pantry, cupboards, and garden first before digging into my food prep stashed in the basement. Between what was upstairs and in the basement, between the 4 of us, we had at least a year's worth of food. I went out on my deck to have a smoke, glanced at Danette's empty house. I'd forgot all about the grill and the propane tank on her deck. Another 30-pound tank would be huge. I decided to go and grab it. In all the chaos burying the bodies in the backyard, I'd also forgot about her garden, which is double the size of mine. Cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, watermelons. It was a huge score. I'd picked up a Mosin Nagant that the Marauders had shot and killed Danette with. 7.62 by 54R was not a caliber I had stocked. There were 3 rounds left in the magazine. Finding some more ammo for it would be a top priority. I also pulled a Beretta 90 series pistol off them, chambered in 9mm with a 17+1 capacity. The mag was fully loaded. This was a tremendous score. I'd applied for my pistol permit 7 months ago and still been waiting on it. Where I'm from in New York, it wasn't unusual to have to wait over a year. In a WROL event, I no longer needed a piece of paper to carry a sidearm. My wife was worried about her mother. It had been 4 days since they last spoke. Her mother only lived a mile and a half away. She was the closest in proximity to any of our family members. From the look in her eyes, I could tell she wanted me to make the trek to her apartment and try and bring her back. She knew the danger that it would involve. What was I to do? Refuse her request and risk everything to try and reunite the two of them? I radioed Jack and Eddie to have them meet me to discuss my intentions and also set up plans for a security watch at night. The two of them came over, both armed. We did not walk outside without some sort of protection now. I'd split the garden score from Danette's yard up to give each of them some fresh fruit and vegetables. I couldn't take care of the whole neighborhood, but was damn sure going to take care of both of them. Our first matter to discuss was night watch. We decided the three of us would alternate each night standing guard. Jack was in his early 70s, but was in better shape than me. I had no reservations. He was a tough old SOB who could handle his own. Eddie in his early 50s and armed with the Maverick 88 I had given him would take the first night. I told him my plans to venture the mile and a half to my mother-in-law's. It was fast approaching dinner time, and we all agreed it would be best for him to move under the cover of darkness to make the journey. Eddie would come stay at my house with my family while I was gone. At that moment, we heard a rumble in the sky. It was fast approaching. It was a group of fighter jets flying very low, buzzing over rooftops. I wasn't sure if they were American fighter jets or foreign. They were so low to the ground, my house was shaking. We immediately headed inside for cover. I decided to check the ham radio to try and find any info. I turned it on. I heard the United States government was in the process of setting up FEMA camps in every major metropolitan city with a population of over 225,000. They said the military and National Guards had been depleted by the lack of manpower and resources. There were also reports of marauders and assailants blocking roads and killing the unprepared who were wandering for help. Some sick form of survival of the fittest, I guess. At that moment, the broadcast cut out. An emergency alert played. What follows explains the fighter jets. Things just went from bad to a whole hell of a lot worse.
We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. A foreign invasion has begun in the northeastern United States. At 10:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, several Russian fighter planes attacked several targets, including the cities of, but not limited to, Boston, Portland, New York City, Trenton, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Scranton. The North American Aerospace Defense Command reports that a second and much larger wave of Russian fighter planes and bombers is inbound. The United States Air Force has been dispatched to intercept the incoming Russians, while the National Guard is working on those already in the United States. All residents in the northeastern United States should shelter in place now. All other Americans should remain vigilant and be prepared to seek shelter or evacuate at any time. Remember to keep all necessary supplies, such as food, water, clothing for a few days, medical supplies, and a battery-powered radio. 50% that you lose power, tune your battery-powered radio to 707 t.m. for information during this emergency. The president is currently being taken to safe shelter and is expected to speak within the next few hours. Stand by for this message.
My neighbor Brian was like, "Yo, where'd you get this knife?" I'm like, "Bespoke Post, man." I see you talking about Bespoke. All
The emergency alert of the Russian invasion was the last thing I wanted to hear. We now had domestic marauders and a foreign invasion on American soil. I thought to myself, maybe this is all one shitty nightmare. Let me pinch myself. Nope, this is the real deal. SHTF, WROL, whatever you wanted to call it. The recovery mission to my mother-in-law's just became even more risky. What if the Russians started bombing my town? How was the American military going to respond? Surely some of their fleet was affected by the EMP. Darkness was quickly beginning to set in. We hadn't heard any more jets since the original group passed over. Maybe they were heading west towards Buffalo or Cleveland. I decided to go ahead with the 1.5-mile trek to my wife's mother's apartment. I could bike there, but that would be risky. I'd be spotted easier. The decision was made to hoof it. I grabbed my chest rig, loaded with 6 spare magazines, chambered in 5.56, my AR-15, the Beretta 90 series I picked off the Marauders, a walkie-talkie, and my get-home bag. If I got into trouble and was stuck, that bag had everything I needed to survive a minimum of 3 days. Eddie on night watch would position himself in my front yard behind some now overgrown bushes. My 8-year-old daughter did not want me to go. She was hysterical. I promised her Daddy would be back in a few hours. I had planned to return home by daylight. I told Jack, Eddie, and my wife I'd only radio them if I ran into trouble. I kissed my daughters and my wife goodbye for what I hoped wasn't the last time. I shook Jack and Eddie's hands, told them to stay safe, and keep my girls even safer. It was pushing 10 p.m. when I left my house. I had a good 7+ hours of darkness for cover. The shortest and quickest journey would be the main roads. It was about 400 yards from my driveway to the main road due south. This was my first time venturing out since day one when I had the incident at the gas station. My heart was beating fast. I was extremely nervous. I had no idea what to expect or what I'd run into. I thought about going through backyards, but was worried someone protecting their home would shoot me. I had 4 cars broke down on my road. I'd use these for cover till I got off my street. I had one more thing against me too. It was a full moon. With no street lights, it's amazing how much light the moon projects off. I could smell wood fires as I maneuvered down the street. I also could see candles burning in the houses. These people had no awareness and no idea of OPSEC. As I got out onto the main road, there were cars and trucks littered everywhere. Wherever they were when the EMP hit is where they now stayed. I decided I'd use the cars and trucks to my advantage and weave in and out, using them as cover, staying as low to the ground as I could. 200 feet down the road, the smell hit me. It was the smell of death cooking in 90+ degree temperatures the past few days. I grabbed a bandana from my bag, tied it off to cover my nose and mouth. As I approached the vehicle, all I could see were hordes of flies. I was doing everything I could not to vomit from the smell. There was an older lady, deceased inside. She was covered in flies and maggots. I glanced quickly, but saw no blood or visible wounds. Perhaps she had a pacemaker that gave out the exact moment of the EMP strike. Further down, I could see and smell what I assumed was a house fire. With no fire department, it was left to spread to adjoining houses. One mistake with a candle could now take out a row of houses. Could also have been marauders burning people out of their homes. That was now my biggest worry for my own house. The 2 fire extinguishers would be no match for a burning, raging inferno. As I carefully approached the burning home, I could see the siding on the neighboring houses beginning to melt from the heat. The house to the right was still occupied, and the people were starting to exit it. At that moment, my biggest fear became reality. Gunshots rang out as the people who lived there made their way outside. Some sick bastard was burning them out and then taking them out. I took cover behind the closest broken down vehicle. The shots continued to ring out. I could see a fire in the road about 75 yards down due west, and what looked like downed trees and telephone poles blocking the road. I saw the glow coming off the barrel of a gun positioned behind the trees and poles. I didn't want them to hear chatter on my walkie or risk them hearing me radio Eddie and Jack. I quickly shut it off completely. I had no idea how many of them there were. I could see 6 to 7 bodies on the ground in front of me at the house they were getting burned out of. The gunshot stopped, and I heard a voice say, "Burn the next one down." They were throwing Molotov cocktails at houses and burning people out. The voice sounded eerily familiar, and then it hit me. It was the same voice from the gas station. The junkie who held me at gunpoint to rob me. What had I done? I let that piece of shit live on day 1, and now he had killed at least a family of 6. On day 5, I wouldn't make the same mistake. The objective of the mission just changed. Every decision you make in a time like this has consequences, one way or another. The adrenaline was taking over. Stupidly, I didn't give a thought to how many people he was with. My one goal was to kill him. As his partner stepped close to the next house to start it on fire, I was concealed behind a car now 50 yards from them. I opened fire, quickly dispersing him. The Molotov cocktail fell to the driveway, breaking and starting on fire. One down. Not sure how many left to go. Return fire came immediately in my direction. There was now a shootout in the middle of a suburban street. But I had the advantage. They were partially blinded from the fire smoke in front of them. I emptied a non-compliant New York State 30-round magazine in their direction and decided to try and flank them by maneuvering northwest behind a row of houses and coming out behind them. He was still shooting down towards the car I had been taking cover at. He was the only one I could see. It was one-on-one now, and he had no idea I was closing in behind him. I heard him mumble he was out of ammo. I decided to pounce. With his back still turned towards me, and me coming from behind a house to his left, I fired 2 shots at his lower body. He fell over still alive. I carefully approached and asked him if he remembered me. He didn't. Probably because he was high as shit that first night at the gas station. I told him I was the guy who tried robbing at Sunoco for $200 the moment the world went to shit. I told him for everything he's done, he deserves a bullet between the eyes. But I wasn't wasting another round on him. I pulled out my United States Marine Corps K-bar and just about decapitated his sorry ass.
Mic drop.
Okay. Wow.
As is tradition, go for it, Chad.
That's his prediction. Well, first and foremost, no, I'm not going to get mom-in-law. I'm sorry. No, thank you. No, now you're in a war zone. Now it's confirmed you're in a war. You're in a war zone. That changes everything. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to think about getting out, evacuating. Now Intel is your friend, so for him to just take off running, out into the darkness with his gun to grab mom-in-law, that's stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. So what he should have done is took like 2 or 3 days to recon the area, plan his route, say, okay, I'm going to go this way. This is less people here. There's there's threats here, and try to mitigate his risk a little bit, and just by recon, and he doesn't have to carry all those weapons. Binoculars would be better.
Yeah,
of course,
100%.
carry a weapon, sure, but
100%. Calhoun said it. If you have a plan to go get somebody to your location that needs help or whatever, you do it the first day or two, tops. After that,
right.
if they can't get to you, you can't link up. It's over. Like,
and going by himself. I mean, sure, I could, if you ninja up, right, and you've got this idea that you're gonna stay hidden, and not try to engage people, even engaging his old friend that he met. That's stupid. I would just pass him by, keep going. Thanks for the distraction. I'm out. And think about this. He's got a mother-in-law. What kind of condition is she in? Is she going to be able to make the trip? Is she in her 60s, 70s? I mean, is she with a walker and cane? Is she in a wheelchair? Is she hurt? Right? It's been 4 or 5 days. Has she been without food and water? Is there a medical condition I should be thinking about? It's and by myself. And what is she going to do? So no. I mean, it changes everything. Being in a war zone. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom-in-law. And I've talked to my mom about this too. She's in Tennessee, and funny that they mentioned Cleveland in this. And she's in Tennessee. I'm in Cleveland. I'm like, Mom, if something happens, I can't come get you. I just can't. I'll never make it.
Right.
There's at least 3 or 4 states in the way of enough craziness and random dangerousness that's going to take me out. So, and then plus, what are we going to do? I'm not going to be there. Am I going to stay there with you? And
I'll carry you on the way home.
Right. I mean, and my mom's in the 70s, and she has to have oxygen. I mean, so it's not going to work. So I told her, that you and your family who are in Tennessee, y'all just need to get together. All you sisters and brothers that hate each other, it's time to make amends and be friends. So I'm here in Ohio. But yeah, anyway, So yeah, reconning the area, moving with mitigation of risk, mitigation of, not being seen, being unseen, right? Moving at night, I don't know. I'd be reconning during the day, little by little. Here, just going up a little further as much as I can, reconning the area with binoculars or spot scope, whatever, identifying threats, and have somebody with me. Right. But it's just so far right now, it's him and 2 other guys in this neighborhood. So it's him and 2 other guys against the whole neighborhood and the whole country that's under invasion by the Russians. That's how I look at it. Those are not good odds.
Lose, 100%.
I'm done. Next.
I agree. Fetching mom is a day 1 mission.
Right.
Yeah.
And having a wheelchair or maybe a deer cart or something, because like you said before, what kind of condition is mom in?
Like one of those tougher wagons that you can get at like a Tractor Supply store.
I was about to say a shopping cart, but those are too freaking loud.
Fuck,
That would be
haul that
epic.
bitch up aisle 12.
You get the one without the squeaky wheel
Yeah.
with the good bearings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched some
I was
prepper.
thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing. It should have been done the first day if she was that important to him, and to wait till day 4. I'm guessing she wasn't that important to the family at day 4, and I wouldn't have done it at night either. I would have done that whole thing differently. Yeah, I think he had no sense of tactics or anything.
Right. He's a civ. But yes, if you were going to do this mission, should have been done, figured out way before now.
It was cool that he got a Mazen though.
You may be the only one excited about that.
Yeah, exactly right. With 3 rounds.
Yeah,
you shoot that thing, everybody's gonna know you got it.
That's a hard hitting round. I wouldn't.
That's true though.
It's a wall hanger at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, you put that. You definitely put that on the wall. You definitely put that on the wall.
Where was that at?
You man the rails with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that last ditch rifle.
Throw that to Grandpa and tell him to put it on the rail with his rocker.
Hell yeah.
Better than nothing.
I think if I had to take a trip 4 days in, though, I got a little. I think I would go at night because I have
Yeah, you got the good shit.
I have an advantage at night. I have suppressors. I have night vision.
Fuck yeah.
So I would definitely be moving at night.
Mr.
I'm
Force
a 4, I just
Multiplier.
have a thermal.
Yeah, I think.
But you know what? This is America.
Everybody get kicked.
What? No.
Am I the only one that got the feeling that this is where Ernie got his story from? And because he bathes in a pool and cuts people's heads off with a K-bar?
His Temu edition or what?
Huh?
His Temu edition or what?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack everybody.
No, you're good.
I think the alpha equipment would be if you had a thermal scope on your rifle and night vision on your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're predator. You're predator at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see everything. Spot with a thermal, walk with the night vision.
But you had to have the foresight to have all that stuck in your Faraday cage,
right?
Before all this,
Right?
Yeah.
Faraday bag, blackout bag.
And you know, this is America. Other people have the same thing.
So Muffin, you got some experience with the Faraday, right?
Yeah, I got some Faraday bags. I have one of those little stealth cam binoculars that's a night vision type deal in a bag at all times. I have a flashlight in there. I have some battery operated fans. I have some like anchor panels. I have a backup laptop.
So like the metal trash can, do you have to like line it with a couple layers of cardboard and then wire it to a ground rod or something?
Right. I've never done the trash can, but you need a separating layer, cardboard, yes, and it needs to be grounded, yes.
Yep.
And then you put something internal of that in between that insulating layer.
I've got 2 old galvanized ones I bought back in the 80s. That's what mine are.
Yeah, I think those big metal shop cabinets, and then you just tape it with the
aluminum tape.
Aluminum tape, yeah, with a ground on it. You can put a solar generator in there. You can put an entire couple rifles with your rigs, your lights, and all that in there. Set up the way you want it. I got like a couple red dots in mine, like just for optics. Nothing crazy, but yeah, I haven't went far enough down the prep list to have a backup thermal yet to put in there. I haven't went far enough down to have backup nods. I need a first set of nods, right?
Well, if you're talking about a cabinet, just store them in the cabinet.
Right. I would, a redundancy. I would like the Tech Protect bags, or the EMP bags, or blackout bag, or an old ammo can. You know, sealed up like a Faraday cage within a Faraday cage, because the redundancy. Anything that you need in there, and I'd want to have drills. I'd want to have sawzalls. I'd want to have chainsaws, like all battery powered. Like if you got Milwaukee shit, you got DeWalt shit. I want all that in there, with a solar generator, so I can actually get out and do some stuff. You know what I mean? That's how I look at that. But
one thing that when that chapter started out, they was losing a lot of meat and stuff because they didn't get it ate in time, because the freezers were thawing. And this is something he could have implemented throughout the community if he had foresight. He could have had a canner and a few cases of jars put back for his own shit. You can go to the animal food supply and buy food grade iodized salt or straight salt, either one. I don't know what I haven't bought it for years. I've got trunks full of it, and it over time it will turn hard, but you can bust it right up and grate it down and make it back into granules. But he could have took a lot of the meat and stuck it in pillowcases and stuffed it with salt, to preserve it.
Yep. I think non-iodized salt works better for that, for like the meat gear. But regardless,
Right.
yes, that's better than nothing. Like literally, if you get like they did in 1 second after, if you get the cheapest rock salt that doesn't have any additives, that works. If you get just like the grinder salt or like Celtic salt, you can buy like a 20-pound bag of Celtic salt, which is the salt I'm using now, cheap off Amazon. You can get a bigger bag, whatever. But yeah, salt cure is a thing.
Oh yeah, I feel good now. I got 5 years worth of like sea salt and pink Himalayan salt. That's my favorite, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Love
I
it.
was on the pink Himalayan until I found if you get the Chinese mine stuff's questionable because they get close to mercury. So I got off of that. But.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, even people that live in apartments ought to have a canner and a few cases of jars put back.
Yeah,
I do.
canning is
Oh
a
yeah.
Yeah, I knew Mad Chad did.
I just built a new pantry, 7 shelves, and one entire shelf is empty fucking jars that I got this year. I got about I think I'm busting out at like 1,200 jars right now. Just a quick estimate. Yeah, I know. I need to fill them all though.
That's how I am. I got 20 pounds of fucking ground beef in my freezer. I need a can. I keep telling myself to do it, but
right. Yeah, I just got a pressure canner to do the beef though. So like,
but
before,
I mean, like Maccabeus. I mean, you can do it on fire. I mean, so implementing the whole neighborhood to get to canning. Let's start fires and start canning.
And you can do that now. You can do a community service thing, or you could do a Boy Scouts thing, or something like that. Get your community involved. Do a community garden. Do a community canning day. Like if you have a group of hunters, say, hey man, I got 3 tags. I'm going to take one entire deer, cube it up, and we're going to pressure can it. You want to help? I'll show you how to do it. If you walk away, if you come help me do it, I'll give you 4 jars.
Wow, right?
Even if you hand it out, you're teaching those guys how to do it. They'll come back and say, hey, man, I'll throw in a deer or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah, them kind of things are real good as a group effort.
Yep.
When you do it all by yourself, it's a lot of work.
And if you get 4 to 6 guys, 10 guys cutting up a bunch of deer, it goes quick. If you're one guy cutting up 20 deer by yourself, it fucking blows. Ask me how I fucking know. Muffin Top
and then cannon them, and then cannon on top of it.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. Not this year, though. Muffin Top steer hunting has been horrendous.
If you couldn't can or salt cure the meat before it goes bad, might not be a bad idea to have like a little tiny block party.
Yeah.
Invite your 3 buddies and your liberal neighbor over and make sure they all got full bellies for at least a day or 2.
Yeah, if you cook it, that's going to give it a couple more days lifespan if you don't let it sit out in
Yeah, making some sandwiches for the next couple days, but also all them bellies full. Then you start handing out a pair of gloves and a shovel. Say, I need a trench dug here, buddy. You can't say no. You just ate up 3 ribeyes out of your freezer, right?
Yeah.
And that
you can start dehydrating it too, making jerky. That
if it's hot, like he's saying, you can dehydrate in a car. You get you a gun, one of those temp guns, if it works. If not, just a meat probe, and you get cookie sheets. Put them in your cars. It will dehydrate.
Oh shit, you're right. It gets really hot in there.
Super hot. Yeah, it's New York, 90 fucking degree heat. Yeah, sweltering, bro. That's a
that car is like 200
You
degrees.
get a black like minivan, dude. You're dehydrating. Serious.
Yeah,
like
there's
you
no
get a
need to
black
let
car
all
with
that meat.
black leather seats, you're dehydrating.
You're right.
There's plenty of options. There's no reason why anybody who calls herself a prepper should have to ever let meat go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that
So, but
liberal.
for that, you need to have like your jerky cure seasoning and stuff like that, so that way it doesn't get you sick. And just if it gets to temp with your meat probe, you say, okay, it's got to go for 6 hours at this temp. Go check it, boom, or do it all day, whatever. Good enough.
That liberal neighbor that he thought he had nothing to offer, she had a huge fucking garden. Like obviously she knows how to grow food.
Yeah.
So maybe she would have been an asset anyway. What are the chances she's got a shit ton of seeds put back?
Yep.
Yeah. Art just went and bought a whole bunch from Menards because they're like 10 cents a pack, and we vacuum sealed like $17 worth of seeds because I'm still on seeds that are fucking like 3 years old that I have in my freezer. Some germination rates are starting to go off, but enough is growing that we're using it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you buy seeds when it's super duper dirt cheap, vacuum seal it, throw it in the freezer. That puts a pause button on it for 2 to 3 years.
People are an asset. You just don't know what knowledge they have and what they could do for you.
Yeah, agreed.
And the only, this isn't my idea, I stole it from somebody, but the only currency there will be in a situation like this is trust.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very hard to get that trust during the event. So it needs to be cultivated before. So if you would have known all your neighbors to start with, then you would have had all that set up and ready to go on who to trust and who not to trust.
Yeah. Dude, my neighbor who built that really super duper nice $3,000 garden compared to my redneck garden, he's still asking me tips and tricks on how to do it.
Maybe he's a freaking pedophile and you don't even know it.
No, I have a list of the pedophiles, which is a thing. By the way, public service announcement: you can get your local pedophile list, and if shit goes down, you could have a hunting brigade in Minecraft.
Hunting season.
Yeah. Just saying, that could be a good way to get some trust. Oh, hey, you brought 10 years of some pedos over here. Oh, you're my buddy. I'm going to feed you for the rest of your life. Just saying,
Right.
public service, right?
Yes, indeed.
Or you just make them hand dig until they, dig a couple more feet in that hole and just go ahead and put a little bit of dirt back over them and keep on trucking, right?
Yeah, I would definitely use
They
them.
dug me a 10-foot trench. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I would definitely use them for something like that. Get some hard calorie burning labor out of them, without giving them any calories, and then take care of the problem.
Yeah. I do want to say, he's stuck in New York, so New York laws suck. So that's kind of his deal with the guns in this, scenario. But this is a super awesome, good group chat, guys. I'm going to pick this back up on Thursday. I do want to shout out and say thanks for Maccabeus for hopping in here, Mad Shad, and Lawfully Armed and Pat. Mac, Shad, and Pat all have YouTube channels, so if you can go like, share, and sub to them, their channels have been dropped multiple times. We're trying to get Pat to 50 subs, guys, so he can talk whilst trucking, help keep him awake, keep him safe. And, those late night drives, you really get some good critical ideas. If you can bounce anything off each other and you've got nothing going on, you might as well.
Right, definitely.
All right. Sure
and
will.
if Shad, you're driving, maybe you and Pat, I don't know if you drive at night, but you guys could talk.
I'm not allowed to do social media while I drive.
Well,
yeah.
In Minecraft.
Can you talk on the phone?
Nope. No distraction.
You drive for Walmart?
I cannot say.
Oh, okay. Prefer not. Understandable.
Right.
I just know Walmart is very, very strict on that.
I've got an AI eyeball that I call Martha the cunt that watches me and tells me if I'm distracted driving, if I'm driving too fast, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, I have a camera too. I have a camera too, but mine is broken. It only does following distance.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah.
Or overspeed. That it's blind on the inside. It can't see me if I touch my cell phone.
And they can watch me anytime they wish too. That's another thing. They can just turn on the camera and go, "What are you doing?"
Right. And a public service announcement. I don't know if you've seen it on the screen the whole time. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs. When I do, I got a giveaway lined up.
All right.
That'd be sweet. Anybody in the chat, if you want to use this for a lazy video, just copy this link. I'll email it to you or whatever, and you can just drop it in your community page and say, hey, I was here if you want to know what the fuck I was doing on Tuesday. So
yeah, I'll
give you some free content, right?
I'll go over to YouTube and pull it up and share it on my community when I get up here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Same here. And I'll sub to Pat over there.
Cool, man.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a good time, man. I'll pick this back up on Thursday. We are on chapter 5. Well, let's finish this one out. I didn't know we were done. We weren't done. Whoops. Oh, it's just the music. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, this is just a dude with a basic bitch AR and a Mossberg shotty, right? That's probably a little bit fudded out past what it should be, but
it's a good
audiobook series, and I got a few more if you guys are into this that I used to listen to that. A couple of them aren't around anymore. I can't find this busy Rizza Jizza guy.
I think he's I used to listen to the Chronicles a lot, and he stopped making the Chronicles, and I'm sad for it.
Right, because he was like
sad.
at the end of another one, getting ready to go, and then he hadn't come back to it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I understand he had some life-changing events, and so I hope he comes back.
I do
don't
too.
know if he will.
I like him. I'd like to be able, now that I'm actually on YouTube, because I was lurking forever, if I could ever get him on. Him and William of Ravenshire, which if you guys haven't listened to those audiobooks, are awesome. Really got me on the thinking train.
He inspired me. I'm a bit of a writer myself. I've been writing like 3 books for the past 10 years. And I've learned that I'm not a good writer, but I'm a good orator. I can talk, right? So I've done a lot of videos where it was just me telling a story, and the story's in my head. It's just hard for me to get it on paper.
Right.
And there's something going on. I don't know. Fucking TBI. Something. Right. I've been banged in the head too many times. I can't write. But
if you use a voice to text and then the AI editor, probably put it together for you pretty well.
I do pretty good just turning on the camera and just going.
That's me.
You know?
I don't like to edit shit. I just like to get it done and out of the way and out of my head.
Yeah. So in the way that Biz the RZA does his, he writes it down, and then he reads it on the screen, and I think that's amazing.
It's good, man. His next one, I mean, he really gets crafty with the words and stuff, but this gets really good, especially when he gets going down to the campground and stuff. And you know what I'm talking about, Mad Chad, if you've listened to this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good, man.
I haven't heard these in years, but I
have an audiobook section in my Discord. I don't know if you fuck with Discord, but I have a whole audiobooks.
I used to be on Discord.
Reviewed a bunch of them, so
I listen. I like binge listen to everything he had, on his channel. I might have to revisit his channel.
Oh yeah, it's a good time. Let me drop my Discord link here.
Which audiobook is it? It's one of them off of your list. The young kids, they're up in a cabin when the EMP hits.
Oh yeah, and then they meet that old dude that has he's a prepper.
Yeah, they set up with the lawyer prepper, and then there's a killer rapist running around town.
Yeah.
What's the hell's the name of that one?
I don't remember right offhand. I know what you're talking about. I've listened to that one a couple times. I'm actually listening to Lights Out by, which is actually pretty good. Lights Out by, who the fuck is this guy? Ted Cope. I have it on my audiobook, not on here. I paid for that one.
I've been listening to some zombie ones.
I like the zombie ones too. Yeah. Where is that one at?
I like that he referenced The Walking Dead.
That might be the America Falls series. It starts with 2 young kids, and the raper dude takes his sister.
His girlfriend.
Nope, not the same one. The shopping cart deal you were talking about is the survival scenario short film where they use that to push their haul.
Yeah, that seemes like a terrible idea. Like, just to announce to everybody one of the 100 yards of you, somebody's pushing something good over here.
No, this guy doesn't have zombie ones. There's a whole dude. If you just do like prepping survival zombie audiobooks, I have listened to a shitload of zombie audiobooks. I love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. This week I got through Fate of Empires, and then he has another one that's like an hour long. I've listened to this Lights Out book almost all the way through. Might just go down the list and finish up Animal Farm and 1984 that I posted in here, but there's a lot of good stuff. If you guys haven't listened to The Day of Wrath by J. Foreskin, the guy who wrote 1 Second After, that's basically the T-Attacks that the Sean Ryan show and everybody's been talking about. This book's been out for 10 fucking years. The plan's been out for 20. It's going to hit one of these days.
What was it called?
The Day of Wrath. I actually did an audio run through on it, but like it started repeating towards the end. We discussed it chapter by chapter, so it's good. It's a good book. It's about 12 to 16 hours, something like that, to listen to both sets of the audiobook. Finish it.
The biggest takeaway from I had from Day of Wrath is rethink your carry, how much ammo and firepower you bring with you, because the bad guy gets to choose the day and the hour, and the only thing you get to choose is the weapon that you bring. So,
right.
Rethink your carry, and also in a bad situation, don't come looking for me. Like, I will make it home if I make it home. If I don't make it home, it's because I'm fucking dead.
Right.
So please don't come looking for me. If you're in a safe place with my children and everything, stay there.
Stay safe, right?
Yeah, stay there.
Yep.
Do
Get
not
your
come
plan
looking
set.
for me.
Get your plan set with those that you love. I mean, that stuff should already be hashed out now. What happens if this? What happens if it's a tornado? What happens if it's a blizzard? What happens if I'm home? What happens if I'm not home? What happens if we're at grandma's house and we're away from all of our shit? What happens if we're at Uncle Bob's house and we're away from our shit? Have a stash tote at all those. I got that video coming. I swear to fucking God, guys. Probably do that this weekend, actually.
And for Pete's sake, if mother-in-law's only a mile and a half away, go get her on day one.
Yes, if you have to go get people, like bug out location 1 through 10. Pick one in this event. We're all here. Go here. Some people might not be able to go snag their gear. They're only going to have their get-home gear and their EDC. That's why you have a buddy rifle kit. That's why you have different loadouts. That's why you have spare food for people.
Yeah.
You know, you might have a plan. Some dude might have Molotov their fucking house and they don't have shit left, you know? Just like the audio books with the, what's the gal's name? Christian Kursky books. They Molotov some dude's house who was a prepper. He lost all of his shit. Because they found out he was a prepper and had food. They burned his shit.
That is a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Have different stash locations. Have a storage locker somewhere. Keep shit in your buddy's closet. Keep shit under grandma's stairs. Whatever. 3 to 4 totes of shit. Some gears, some medicals, some hygiene, some food, and water purification. Keep it somewhere.
I drive an 84 K5 Blazer just for EMP. Well, I like them too, but it's EMP's a lot of my thought process behind having it. One little piece will get ruined. It's a 5-minute change out. I got 3 of them in a 50 caliber ammo can in a box Faraday cage that I carry in there. But if nobody's got a vehicle, and if somebody can't take it from me, that's a high possibility. I've always figured that somebody would just destroy it, blow it up with me in it going down the road, an RPG, whatever, homemade shit,
Jesus, I hope we don't have RPGs on day 3 or 4. That would be a shitty deal. You're in the way wrong fucking spot if people are rolling with RPGs first weekend, bro.
Farm country, and these farm boys know how to make shit, man. I'll just say that.
If I hear RPG, I'm going to try to get, tactical resupply it.
Rocket Motors RS.
For my own chat.
I'm saving the RPG for the Russian helicopters. With
Back after that October
Right.
7th thing happened over in Gaza or in Israel, there was a news channel that was doing an interview on it, and they was interviewing one of the Hamas people, and everything that they learned to make them rockets that they were launching, they learned off YouTube, he said.
Yeah,
Anything-
there's a lot of instructional videos. Let's just say that.
Yeah, in
A little
Minecraft.
bit
I
of
watch
Rust
them
and
for 'em.
in Minecraft. Yeah.
yeah, you
Right.
can trick
we
AI.
can't really talk about that.
You can trick AI into telling you how to do it. If you just straight up
Oh, wow.
ask it, it'll say I can't do that, but you got to tell it like in a hypothetical universe or something weird like that, and it'll actually come up with it and tell you the formulas and
The
what to
Marvel
do.
Universe.
I don't
In Marvel
fucking say
Universe, how would Spider-Man?
Yeah,
how would
exactly.
Spider-Man make an RPG to take
How
out
would he make
Thanos?
homemade C4 with these ingredients listed below?
Some bird poop and
Does this
and
guy
some
get
piss.
into any code talking on his radios in this book?
Not really code. He doesn't think like that. He's not military, security, police, anything like that. He's just straight civvy. So
Right. That's one thing to
Yeah,
think about if you weren't.
it's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't-
Monkey
don't
horse.
be-
Yeah, there's so many things.
Don't be talking about your 14-year-old daughter that lives in the red house
No.
on 4th Street on an unsecured radio.
That's one
Gotta-
reason why I have 2 hats in my bug out get home kits and like a jacket of mine, like a hoodie, so that way my wife can look like a gal and look like a dude more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you're
Tuck your hair up under, put the hoodie on, put the hat on, and move.
You're gonna want to have code words for home and code words for, the stash. Code words for each person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's
Hand
something
signals.
that's your SOPs you need to have in place now. Standard
Yep.
operating
Rally
procedures.
Point Delta. Rally Point Delta at FJT7, right?
Right.
And you don't. Nobody knows what you're saying.
Operation Yoda at Death Star. Nobody needs to know what the fuck that is. No, who's going to decipher that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And
I've
sign
been
language.
revisiting some of that.
Yeah, all
Sign
kinds
language,
of alternate
yeah.
communication. I usually just like to use my turn signal, but that's just for fun.
Dead drops, message drops.
Yep.
If something happens, come to this spot, come to this park, look under this rock.
Yep.
Yep.
If this goes down and we're at the mall, here's our rally location. Look for note under this stone, or maybe whatever. You have a stash there. Like, here's a key under here. Get what's in this box and get.
Yeah.
And one cool trick I came across, I can't even remember where it was, but it was just in the past couple of days. If you only have 3 sentries or something like that, you name them like Alpha, Beta, Delta, and skip one. That way, if anybody's out there listening and looking, they're always wondering where Charlie is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did do sign language on a recent video. I was trying to get R to turn the fucking video off, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I'm fucking recording. Sorry." R, you dumb bitch.
That's interesting. I was a prison guard one time. Here's a story for you. I was a prison guard, and I was working chow hall, and there's 2 lines going in, and there's these 2 guys. One's on the other side of the chow hall, one's on the other, and they're just steadily just throwing sign language. I know some. I had a deaf friend, growing up, and I'm sitting there trying to follow. They're going really quick, but I'm like, oh hey, and I walk up to them and I say, I call them a bitch, and tell me in sign language, and they're like, oh, you understood what we were talking about? I was like, well, some of it. He's like, yeah, a lot of it was code too. It's like, oh, that's smart. So they made up their own sign language as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Alternate freaking pig Latin, whatever y'all got to run to figure it out. Get that stuff set in place now. Sit down with everybody on a weekend and get some stuff hashed out. Super smart, but that requires community, right? Community, family, mag, expand it. People are the best thing you can have, and prepared people even better, because then you don't have to feed the entire freaking thing, right? You're not the chuck wagon. Everybody should have their own wagon with enough to sustain theirs. And when you circle those wagons, that makes you strong.
Word.
Every time I get to thinking about this, I think about the Amish. Like, they've got all this on lock.
Yeah.
They've got guns. They've got. What do they speak? Dutch. Like
Pennsylvania Dutch.
They have like their own language. They have guns. They have all their farms and everything all ready to go, set up. They could care less if the electricity goes out. They won't probably won't even. They probably won't even know for a while.
Yeah, this book called Lights Out. That's actually a section this guy went and interviewed.
The truth of Amish is, though, they have guns, but they don't believe in self-defense.
Some. There's
all
still
of them
some
around
weirdies.
here. I've got several ordnance of them around here, and none of them do.
Yeah, they're extremely non-confrontational. They will not argue with you.
How fake was that TV show about the Amish mafia dude?
Very fucking fake.
Oh, right.
Do you think
I
they
like
have?
to think they have enforcers. Yes.
Yeah,
Just like
just
like the one audiobook we had, right? That they were the Amish guys. They had their own enforcers, Jebediah or whatever. In the book William of Ravenshire, right, where they stopped the Bearcat and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had those Amish were running guns for the Mexican cartel and explosives, right? They had hand grenades and AKs that were full auto and shit.
I'm right in the middle of all those guys. I need to go make some friends.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, they have friends already. They have people that drive them. They have people that have phones. They have people that use technology.
Yeah.
So
Move their product for 'em.
they already have a support group around them, that are willing to fight. I mean, if some Amish guy come up to me and says, "Hey, I can give you free beef for a year if you just stand here and shoot anybody that comes across my property," like, yes, sir. Thank you.
So
I like
you
hamburger.
can trade with those Amish lawfully if they don't have freeze dryer stuff. You could freeze dry stuff, or you could go in. They could say, "Hey, man, I need something made to hold this, whatever. I need it to hold this lantern, this pitchfork." You could print something with a 3D printer.
I have
Fix the
preset
product for them.
I have preset plans with my Amish around me.
Hell yeah! I wish we had some around me. That'd be awesome.
Right on. I'm just gonna show up. All right, I got the beard and the gun. I'm like, hey, I'm on your team.
Have some, bro. Give me a hat. We'll fit right in.
That's right.
Hell yeah, guys. Well, if you ain't doing anything Thursday, we're gonna pick this back up Thursday at about 8 Central.
Unfortunately, that will be my bedtime. I have the day off tomorrow, so this is my one and only chance. I apologize.
We'll knock it out until we're done, unless something super crazy happens in the news. I see South Korean Prime Minister got the boot, and a lot of world chess pieces are moving very rapidly at the moment, so it's kind of hard to stay settled.
Well, yeah, they've got to start World War III before the 20th.
Yeah,
right.
They're doing a pretty good job.
They're trying.
But yeah.
Well,
guys, I appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and sub to the old Muffin, because Calhoun said, "Boy, we got to get you monetized, Muffin." That would make it a lot easier. It's a very time-consuming thing that we're doing, but I do work out when I'm doing this stuff, and I got some other stuff organized. That little mini solo stove I got, I put my Coleman cook set in it. It fits like a glove with 2 green scrubbies. So I'll do a video on that. I just repacked my bug out bag with it to check it out, so I can walk with it and see how it works, or if it don't work or whatever. So after I get a couple miles in on the treadmill with that, I'll let you guys know how I like it. So
right on.
You stay safe, Matt, brother.
You as well, Mac. You too, brother.
Stay
you guys.
Stay deadly. Stay vigilant.
Stay safe, and if you can't stay safe, be dangerous.
Hey, drink water, work out, get your body in better shape than what it was the day before, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Keep faith.
Thank you for having me on, Tactical.
No problem, Mac. Deuces, everybody.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Peace.
See ya.